We bring you this week's flight sim news from SayIntentions and catch up from the latest development update. We preview the iniBuilds A340 airliner, an upcoming paramotor, vessels, Australia in New South Wales, and a new scenery called Sutton On Rogue. Or maybe it's Rogue. I prefer Rouge. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the middle of the week, the halftime shows, the midweek shuffle. Welcome to the news and all sorts of news now, do you know, just on the hot on the tails of the Microsoft Flight Sim dev stream, the update. Oh, jeez, there was the chat. Did you see what was going on in the chat? But anyway, hope you're all keeping well. A very happy Wednesday to you. This is our chance to catch up with all the news making the headlines over the past week for our beloved flight simulators, finding out what goes on from third-party developers, from the main devs themselves, and kind of have a sneak peek at what's on the way, man. Right? So loads of topics, you know. Right, Scott, I saw it. Absolute bejesus. Loads of topics to discuss tonight, especially from the dev stream. Now, if you didn't see it, there was usual updates. You know, they go through the bug trackers, the lists, and all the jazz. And they also then started talking a little bit about the upcoming PlayStation release. Ooh, and of course, other questions going into the chat that, well, you know, we'll have to see what happens. We'll talk about it and get your feedback, because that's the only feedback I worry about. So it's our discussion now, you see. We take it for ourselves as we dissect and, you know, figure it all out, right? But anyway, what did I do today? I had a very productive day today, you know. I did shag all, but you know, I did on my computer, like, you know what I mean, and learning things and studying, and as what I do, and also testing some stuff out. Right, but hope you're keeping well tonight. Yes, of course, we will be checking out all the news and updates as well from SayIntentions. They've done something rather fancy. We also have then this gadget here beside us, the brand new release from iniBuilds or iniBuilds. It is that of the A340, based of course on the Airbus A340, and I like this. I very, very much like this. So we'll show you a little bit of depth to it and how it performs, and you know, that kind of stuff. Then we get to preview something on the way, a paramotor. I'm telling you, right, there's a paramotor on the way from Flyndive, and I have it here. We're going to load it up and show you what it's all about. I'll explain more when we show it. Then, of course, we're going to be checking out a brand new release, or upcoming release, from Seafront Simulations. This one is Vessels AU. It's New South Wales in Australia. They've added in an absolute barrelload of content, so we're going to check that one out as well. And then we have Sutton On Rogue, or is it Rouge? I prefer Rogue. It's a brand new release partnered by Orbex, and it's Backwood Studios. We're going to have a quick look at that as well. So how are you? How was your day? Listen, lads, we're halfway through it now. The back is broken. The weekend is on the horizon. And in 2 weeks, we have a long weekend. Brilliant. Absolutely great news. But we'll start off at the very beginning and we'll talk a little bit about the dev stream, right? Because I think it's still going on, but there was quite a bit covered, you know, and maybe some questions were answered, maybe some weren't answered. We'll get into the whole shebang. Who's here, look, on this Wednesday? We'll say hello. We'll welcome everyone in first. I mean, you guys have gone to the trouble to tuning in, to sitting down, maybe getting a tasty beverage and saying hello. So I'll say hello. David Bay, good evening. Lead Ballooner is here. Vacuum, good to see you, my guy. North Coast Mike, welcome in, Mike. Hope you're well, buddy. Got some tunage here, Murph. Spitfire RAF 100 is in the chat, along with Fierce Wolf, looking fierce. Yeah, and Wolfie, welcome in. Knights Ep is here, welcome aboard. The Impossible Face, greetings. CP65, welcome in. The man who keeps turning on and off me lights. Who else come into the chat now? Malky is here, good to see you, Malky. 98 Vulcan, good to see you. Ryan is in the house. Bell Bro, welcome in. Gibbo Ireland is in the chat, me dude. Welcome in, Gibbo, hope you're well. DK Funfly, A340, good to see you. I forgot the dev stream is on. I will bring up to speed. Good evening, news gatherers, says Creo. Hello to Mayo. Hope you're well. Light Bison is here. Good evening. Took my delivery of the Rossfire OHP. That's the overhead panel. Photoshop can do anything these days. The overhead panel. Ooh, nice. Couldn't miss the midweek show. Thank you very much indeed, Light Bison. Where is this now? On the plus side, you have donuts. Hey, Crotty has donuts. Did you bring some for us? 98 Vulcan, 25 streams in a row. Thank you very much indeed. Muse Fan bursts in the door holding a steering wheel and nothing else. How are you, yous mad jokes? Good to see you, Muse. Sun Jammer's here, 20 in a row. When the chimes end, pick up your gun. Try and shoot me. Murph, just try. Right, good evening, Sunjammer. Over me head. Dogs is here, good to see you. Mac Vision, welcome in. Shuffle Shoes shuffles in. AJH. Tarnish Mossman, good evening. Mac Vision, 14 months with a tier 1. Thank you very, very much indeed, man. APU Inspector is here, 40 streams in a row. He says, happy hump day, Murph and chat. We are halfway to the weekend. Yes, we are. Piku, welcome in. Nick is in the house. Old Veteran 965. Scott, a very happy Wednesday to you. Sai120 is here. Filthy came for the news, staying to watch Murphy break the A340. It's going to happen. She who lives upside down is Mrs. TPHI. Welcome aboard. Malky Mac 15 in a row. Time for the news. You're welcome in, buddy. Linny Bobbins, tis yourself. Happy Wednesday. Kill Switch is here. Sean Dale, good evening. What's good? Wait, Sean Dale, good evening. Let me see now. Chris James, good to see you, buddy. Tier 1 for 3 months. Cheers, man. Appreciate it. Photos by Kev. Good to see you, Kev. JP Signups is here. The Microsoft Flight Sim stream was pretty intense. Yeah, let's go with that. Liptorius, thank you for your 20 months. What an absolute legend there is. They're still getting slagged. You think we're rough on you? Jesus, really. Mr. 90, hello. Stu Snape, good evening, Stu. Hope you're well, buddy. Corn Wolf, a very good evening. Happy Wednesday. They need to fix the game before expanding to PlayStation. Well, we'll get into that. Get to the chopper. Just a money grab that'll impact on the PC scenery quality, says Kev. Mech Manser, good to see you. Mr. 90 says, and avoiding or banning everyone who mentioned the main thread bug or asked for it to be fixed. Painfully obvious they are not at all focused on getting the sim stable, says Mr. 90. P Swan, good evening. Where's this now? Chocks, yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Downrange, good to see you, man. Hope you're well. You're looking well. Paparazzi is here. Happy News Day, everyone. Flying the A340 into Alba, which is somewhere I don't know. What's he says? He's liking it so far. That's somewhere out the Middle East, I'd say, is it? Or is it the kind of lower west? But yes, didn't see the Microsoft Flight Sim update. Any news on flying heavies in career mode? We'll see. A lot of toxic people in the chat. They need to chill out, says Spitfire.
Yeah, baby.
Jesus. Right, it's all kicking off now. The comment on the dev stream didn't sound like it was a good one. Right, I think the app is being worked independently and they identified it as a completely separate app. They are throwing a lot of developers at the product and there is a point where adding more devs doesn't speed things up. They may have reached the point and are allowing focus on PS5 to keep the momentum going, says JP Signups. It's a good question to raise. Vex is here, good evening. Schutz, good evening. Memphis Dunn is here. Welcome aboard. Out here in the suburbs is out there in the suburbs. Welcome aboard. Jeez, it's all very busy all of a sudden. Where's Squeaky? Who? One Fly Air, good to see you. I'm looking at your stream on an LG C2 48-inch TV. I'm also looking at the MSFS official dev stream. Oh, look at the fanciness of you. 2 streams. I tried that. I get terribly confused. PH Roy, good to see you, buddy. Missed the dev stream. We'll update you with the findings. Toto is in the house. Good to see you, man. If it was photoshopped, there'd be more hair. Beirut, good man, paparazzi. Beirut, Jesus, yeah, good man, Scott. Hermit Something is here. Very good afternoon from a busy work day in Boston. Hello from Tipperary. Devil Fly is here. Good afternoon from Southern California. Hello from Tipperary. Hope you're well. Viper Strike is in the house. Breaking news: the next world update will be Greece, Turkey, and Cyprus. Will it? Greece, Turkey, and Cyprus. You see, I missed that thing. Good man, Viper, keeping us up to date. Where is this now? Donuts are long gone. Jesus. Mick Ham, good to see you. Kill Switch, 10 in a row. Thank you very much indeed. Apache's in the house, good evening. Gar Gaming, hello to Galway. Hope you're well. Crabby One, good to see you. Zybok Doc, calling from Denmark. Hello from Tipperary. Hope you're well. Winkle Gassler is here. Welcome aboard. Eamon 1973. Just finished watching the dev stream. You're very welcome in. Mr. Dan, good to see you. Let me see. Flipper Alloy, happy Wednesday. Fornax is here. Good to see you, man. Hangar Studios 713 is in the house. Love your work, man. Hangar Studios, you're also doing a sale on with your add-ons currently. Isn't that right? You can save yourself a fortune, lads. They were deleting cut and paste questions that were being spammed. That is normal. It's very normal. Bought the Clifford Yosemite scenery to practice with the Taogs 500 and the S76. At least I'll have something pretty to look at while I die, spawn, and request and repeat. Yes, that'd work. BMC, thank you very much indeed for subscribing at Tier 1. Cheers, buddy. Energizer, welcome in. Oh, God, we'll talk about that now. It's huge news. Goblin Zeus, good evening. Petrolhead, good evening. Hope you're well, lads. Flying Tonight is here. Alrighty then. Schutz, the Blackbird demo. Oh, Jesus. I don't see a problem. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about all that now in a second. I'd rather watch you than the dumpster fire that was the dev stream. Listen. It's okay. We're here now. Right. It'll be grand. Here you'll get, inaccurate information by an idiot and he'll keep smiling and looking into the camera. Right, that's how this works, right? Your man is such an idiot. We know I am. I bought most of the Hangar Studio planes the other day. Good man yourself. Brilliant. Where is this now? Yeah, it's grand. It'll be grand, right? Now, come over here, look. This stream is the only dumpster fire I'm interested in. That's the spirit, Chocks. Let me see. FMJ is in the house. Sergeant Sausages is here. Commander Bolosh, good evening. Northland Air. Jesus. Happy Wednesday. Sergeant Sausages, you're very welcome in. Black Sheep Gene, good day, fellow stalkers. I want 2 pieces of kit. The Moza AB6 and the Meridian Tango. Ooh. Kubi, good to see you. Super Typhon, welcome aboard, buddy. Let me see now. Mr. TPHI, good to see you, man. I saw your comment across on the dev stream. It made a lot of sense. In relation to its pilot hour. Do you know what I'm saying? JP, good to see you. Who else come in? Long weekend is here. Thanksgiving. Ooh, nice. Brandon, welcome in, Brandon. Lee Russell is here. Visualize, welcome aboard. Nutty Slack is here. Practically Geek. Brian, good to see you, man. Let me see now. Jungly Rambles aboard. Morpheus Pilot. I'm here drinking wine in Oslo. Oh, good man yourself. What a time to be alive. Alex is in the house. Dave Cleary. Legend Dave. Welcome in, Dave. Flying Winnebago, welcome aboard. Where is this now? Let me see now. Model matching needs to be fixed. Sure, listen, join the queue. Anna Crosses, good evening. Permission to come aboard. Mr. Anderson, permission granted. Hop on in there now and sure we'll have the crack. Let me see. I got a bundle and won the Scout from Hangar Studios, says Ibok. Nice. The only dumpster fire worse than that is in Manchester United. Viper Strike, you can't be talking about football. Mr. Minimite, good evening. To the answer of the marketplace purchases, yeah, we'll get into all of that now in a moment. Jan Drays, thank you very much indeed. 4 years. What? You haven't aged a day. No, I haven't either, you know. I still have my boyish good looks. Richie Evans, good evening. Where is this now? I was watching on YouTube and Twitch. It's Sergeant Sausages. Sergeant Sausages, good to see you. Right, now, Jesus, that was quick. We caught up. Right, we'll go over to this other screen where things look, you know, more important. Warning for home cockpit builders. Heads up for anyone running external displays, air manager or hardware cockpits. The A340 uses a single shared render layer for all 6 screens. It's incredibly frustrating to spend money expecting normal Microsoft Flight Sim compatibility, only to find a completely different and limiting rendering method which was quietly introduced. Transparency matters. This should have been stated clearly on day one, says Derek Lane. That's interesting feedback. Derek, have you tried to reach out to iniBuilds on the matter? If not, we can certainly ask the question for you. Lucas says, do you know when when iniBuilds is going to release the runway in Antarctica? It's already done, Lucas. Yeah, it's already done. Boy is more like Tintin. Will you check off calling me Tintin? Jesus, it's only Wednesday, Vex, I'm telling you now. Right, Stevie B's, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're well. Look, you only took 8 minutes. Yeah, I know. Right, who's in charge? Right, we'll press some buttons now, look. Yes, and... Right, now come over here into my highly sophisticated professional studio setup. What, hang on, that's not squeaking anymore, do you listen?
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus, that's much better now. Oh no, I'm after breaking it. You couldn't just leave it, Murphy. You had to keep fiddling with it. Oh no, she's squeaking there now. Right, grand. Anyway, you're all very welcome in. Happy Wednesday, lads. And yeah, a bit to cover tonight. So yes, this here, of course, is the beautiful A340 from iniBuilds, and we'll be checking out this in a little bit closer detail shortly. I am excited about this aircraft because it's beautiful. Echo 19, Tyler is in the house. Good to see you, man. Why does it feel like Friday? Yeah, I mean, it could be just calling sick for the next few days. Two Bliner, says Kev. You know, I know, Kev, what you're going to say, but just park the emotions for the moment. There's cool stuff going on with this, right? Right, now, we have sounds. That's a good start. So shall we get on with the old dev stream feedback first, right? We'll be looking at the A340 in a little moment, right? So I've loads of notes. All the notes. And I'm going to start them off over here. So the dev stream started as most dev streams start. A quick feedback on what was going on over the last, month or so. What they have released already. So that, they spoke about the world update. They spoke about the new aircraft, so on and so on. And then they were talking or addressing some of the questions that are submitted. And this is the thing that needs to be, I don't want to say realised, because people realise it, right? But there isn't really a system in the dev live streams that are able to deal with many questions of the same type, right? That's something maybe they could look at, because otherwise you end up getting into crowd control, the same questions spamming. No one wants to see that, and people who do it, quite frankly, are idiots, because what are you going to get out of it, lads? They're not going to answer you. They're just not going to answer you. So there has to be a more proactive way in which, hang on, we're not trying to diminish the points being raised and the questions being asked, right? You're not trying to diminish it at all. We need to figure out a way that's actually going to get those questions properly put forward and then properly addressed. Because even at that, if you think you have if there's a huge issue and you're going to ask the question and, the dev team aren't aware of it, or at least at that level, they're not fully aware of it, you're not going to get the answer you want anyway. You're just going to get, yeah, we have to look into it. Like, that's all you're going to hear. Do you know what I mean? So I think there needs to be something tangible to say, listen, lads, you've made a mess of something. This needs to be dealt with. This is the importance of it. And, can you give us a timeline when that's going to be fixed? Please. Thanks. That's the way forward, I think. You could say, nothing, Murph. You wouldn't be the first one, to suggest such outrageous claims. But anyway, they started off with 2020 support, right? So they were talking about Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. It's still there. Jorg was quite positive about it. Look, yeah, 2020 is still there. We said we're going to stand by it. We think the sim updates, the velocity of them, of course, are going to slow down in comparison to that of 2024, which is fair enough. So they're talking about maybe summer Once a year, they'll target a sim update, which is fair enough. The city and the world updates will be in line with Flight Sim 2024, which is grand. And the aircraft that are released in 2024, they will be looking away at porting them back into 2020. Some, not all. And Jorg had a little kind of a gadget there to show, you know, what aircraft could or couldn't work. Now, just on 2020, because, you know, it's easy to gloss over that and focus on everything else. 2020 is still the main platform for a lot of simmers. So if they're talking about sim updates, you know, once a year, that means that the platform, any issues that are currently impacting the platform are now going to be somewhat paused, which is not a good thing. Whatever about adding features, and that's all grand. Yeah, we can wait a year. Because what you'll find is, well, your third-party developers, they'll figure out ways of enhancing your experience, but they need a very stable platform in order to do that. With 2020, there hasn't been great feedback since Sim Update 16. A number of things have been... What? How did they do? They broke it, right? For some people. Other people, it's working fairly okay. And other people, it's perfect, right? So if it's only going to be a yearly thing where they'll target the sim and say, right, we're going to bring updates and fixes and maybe features, we don't know. I'm not sure on that one. What do you guys think? I mean, a show of hands, I don't know how we can do that on multiple, we're on YouTube and on Twitch, but like, simple, let's try it this way. Only answer if you're still using 2020 and 2024, or you're just using 2020. But put a 1 in chat if you're still using Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. Just one. Don't need to know if you're using both or you're not. Just if you're using Flight Sim 2020, just drop a 1 into the chat. We'll get a rough idea of where folks are at, right? And we'll see, right? Because I think, I still use 2020. Now, I haven't flown it in quite a while. And mainly I use 2020 for a couple of things, right? If you're airline focused, well, the PMDG fleet, right? At least the 737s. If you're more on the, the plugins, the likes of Parallel 42's Flow and Chaseplane, well, they're still very much alive and kicking over there as well. And then there's other bits and bobs. I mean, we're looking at the stall series. We're starting that next Monday, learn how to stall. Well, a lot of the e-stall series or sceneries, well, they're only really working in 2020, right? So there's a bit of head scratching. I think there's still a lot of folks using 2020, maybe not as their main sim, but they're keeping it there. Other folks, it is their main sim. You know what I mean? 24 out of 150, that's Talon. Wait, what is that all? Jesus, Fort Noob, the man can count. Fort Noob, remember the time we said, well, we didn't, you did. You can count. Oh, Jesus, hope you're well, Fort. Every 4 months would be good. Yeah. Okay, well, of the people who answered versus who's watching, I suppose. But anyway, listen, we can say there's probably a percentage of folks who are still using 2020. Okay. So your thoughts on a yearly update? It depends, doesn't it? It depends. Brilliant. Quantum River has a stall setup working in 24. Oh, does it? Right, okay. Right, so moving on then. So that's the 2020 situation where we're at. Grand. Moving on. There was a question that my jaw hit the desk on the answer that I heard from this. And look, listen, I've no agenda to give out or moan or whinge or slate people. But this one, my jaw hit the desk. The question was, people were asking in relation to Sim Update 3 and the issues regarding the main thread. The actual complaint was, main thread loads up and doesn't recover. Now, if you didn't know about the issue and you heard that sentence, yeah, I'd say, what are you talking about, right? Neo, thank you very much indeed. 37 months. Cheers, buddy. The main thread issue is, whatever bug, whatever's present, the main thread is getting fully loaded, as in it's using up all your VRAM and it does not recover from it. There's no way to reset it. You have to turn off the simulator, turn it back on again. And this is causing angst throughout the community because it's stopping them getting to fly what they want to fly, where they want to fly. Jesus, old veteran, you absolute man. Look what he did. 5 gifted tier 1 subs over on Twitch. Scott, thank you very, very much indeed. Cheers, buddy. Lads, if you just got a tier 1 sub here on Twitch, with thanks to old veteran 965, do be sure to say thank you. The man is a legend. Thank you very much indeed. So yes, the main thread loads up and there's no fix for this, right? It doesn't seem to be affecting everyone, but it's affecting a lot of folks. And I'd have to say it's probably particularly affecting the airline flyers more, right? More so. It just seems to be a bigger impact on the airline guys, right? However, it's one of the largest bugs that's present right now on the platform. It is the largest, I would say, bug. It's not like it's not right or it could be better. It's a bug, right? It is the largest on the platform. And Sebastian said he knows nothing of this. I quote, knows nothing about this, right? Jorg and Martial both acknowledged it to say, yeah, look, listen, there's two parts of this. We have one group of people saying there's no problem, and we have another group of people saying that there is a problem. So they're not fully aware of it. Now, it's not like, right, lads, let's grab your pitchforks and we'll go out and have fun here. What this statement, at least, to me, brought out, what I realised here, the communication. Where's all the communication at, right? So are we talking that the current format of using, the forums and Zendesk and all this sort of way, is this the best way to communicate these issues? And then they're brought up to the upper echelons and then spoken about. I don't know. I'm asking you, right? What's the best way to address these things? What's the channels like? Like, where do people get the information? Well, who's checking the information? Like, from a community manager standpoint, is that part of their roles? Do they have to go back now to say, right, this is what the community are talking about. These are the issues I'm bringing to you, the development team. I need some feedback to go back to the community. Does that happen? I don't know. I don't know. This isn't a criticism. I'm genuine. I don't know. Something isn't happening. If you have, Seb, who's like, him and Martial, they're both CEOs of Asobo, but like, they're right up there in terms of overall management of this friggin' franchise, and they're not fully aware of the issue, which is affecting so many people. As I say, it is probably the largest bug in the sim right now. And I think what's absolutely, I need a powerful word here, something that I had to learn, but like, this needs proper dealing with. Because the issue now has just been amplified so much with the latest Sim Update 4 patch that's now restricting users from being able to use the sim properly in Sim Update 4 because there is an issue. They have to go back onto Sim Update 3 and now they're facing the main thread issue once again. And granted, if you're lucky and you have top-end hardware, you don't really feel it. But if you don't have the top-end hardware and you are experiencing this bug, you're shagged, right? So a Sim Update 4 beta, they were all on Sim Update 4 because the performance is notably better, right? However, the latest update to Sim Update 4, which released either yesterday or whenever, has caused issues. You're forcing the folks back onto Sim Update 3, where they are now back having this main thread issue. That's the conundrum, right? And that's why people were constantly asking the questions. And it wasn't like, that was the response. Seb said he didn't know anything about it. And Jorg and Martial saying, yeah, well, listen, one half of the parish is telling us there's a problem. The other half of the parish are telling us it is. So they don't have the information that they need. That's where my concern came in, thinking, well, how is that the case? Like, how is that the case? You have to look at the forums. You have an issue. You present your issue. The forum moderators go in and say, okay, that's a unique one, grand, or that's very similar to this. Well, we'll merge these together. So they're trying to do what they can to keep the information unique, right? They don't want doubled up information. And then people vote on it. And then they see it. And like we heard these statements before, oh, it doesn't really matter on the amount of votes. Clearly it does. Clearly it does. That's what they target, right? And then you're saying, well, how are these actually being tracked and dealt with? To me, I think the communication problem, it is a communication problem. You know what I mean? But yeah, I thought it was interesting. And like, Jesus, you're saying, right, okay, for this franchise, there are so many thousands of pilots now, of users, players, whatever you want to call us. There's so many now. It's not easy. Like, you can't really criticize what they're doing, but you have to ask questions to say, well, hang on, is it actually working? Is it fit for purpose? Or are there other ways in which you can address these things? What do you guys think? Is it the case that, there's community managers or there's community helpers or whatever you want to call them, are they now tasked with, very specific areas within the simulation to say, right, I want you looking after airliners or, flight models. I want you specifically looking after anything that raises its head up to do with avionics. I want you looking after the weather. I want you looking after, servers or whatever. Like, maybe that does happen. I don't know. I would love to figure out what they're doing. You know what I mean? But anyway, that is the story with the beta. One way to fix it, I think, again, I have all these wonderful ideas. They probably wouldn't work at all. An idea to fix that would have, additional branches of a beta. So you have beta A, beta B, right? Meaning, when they want to update or add features, that goes into the beta A branch. If they're just making fixes and enhancements, that goes into the beta B branch. Yeah? You know what I mean? And then, I don't know, maybe at the end of it, let the beta testers vote on which one is the most best step forward to release. Maybe that would work, maybe it wouldn't work. Couldn't tell you. But anyway, it was a bit mad, wasn't it? Anyway, I just thought that was absolutely nuts. In relation to the wish list items, they did address this finally. The focus has, of course, been on bug fixing. They're trying to do their best to get all the bugs out of the sim, which that's what we need right now. Jorg did say, however, there's going to be a few wish list items that are influencing next year's program of development, right? And they're starting to kick some of those off soon. Right? They're going to kick those off soon. So what you might say, well, what are wish list items? For example, you have things like shared cockpit, twin jetways, right? They are to do with wish list. I call them features. They are features that they wanted added to this platform, right? So the good news is they're looking at them now and they think they're going to push them off into next year. So we should have some stuff starting next year. That's what we hope to see, right? Where is this now? Where the official forums are jokes, says Christian. Any hint of criticism is deleted for rules or violations. Sax Bryan says, almost upgraded to 24 over the weekend. Glad I held off. It sounds like 24 still needs to bake a while longer. Lee Russell says, or just don't do betas. Well, I think betas are important because they started off without having beta. As in, they were just closed groups, tested it, released it. We got our hands on the sim and like the list of like, lads, you broke everything. Do you know what I mean? So I think betas are very important. It provides a safer way for the developers to test before giving it out to everyone. Betas are vital, I think. Do you know what I mean? The forum has many comments deleted. Yeah, well, I get that. Like, put it this way, right? Criticism. No one wants to be criticised. Let's be frank about this, right? Think about it, lads. And this is kind of what's missing. Picture this. I'm not saying we can't be angry or upset or, we don't have a right to whinge and moan. Of course we do. What I'm saying is this. If you are doing the best of your ability, if you're doing the best job you possibly can, and you now come in to face criticisms that may or may not be part of your control, right? Well, that doesn't really do anyone good. I think there's a way more, effective approach that should be used in order to say, these are the problems, this is when they've been registered, this is the progress update on where we are with these problems, and this is when we expect to have them fully addressed. That's very clean and clinical information. We don't have that. We just don't have that. We usually get, in progress, haven't been able to reproduce it, it's coming in Sim Update 5. That sort of wording, it's not of any shagging use to us at all. Sim Update 5? When is Sim Update 4 coming out? Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't do us any good. So I think there are ways in which the communication could be just so much better. So much better. But in terms of criticising them, and this is the gas thing, and we live in this kind of weird friggin' world now, right? You look at the release or the recommendation stars behind a product when it releases, right? Let's say Flight Sim 2024 on Steam. It's still mixed, right? The first couple of months, it was overwhelmingly negative. Now, if you're an investor behind the curtain, and this is where the thing gets real, if you're an investor, you're going to say, hang on, I spent all these countless of millions, and this is the end result. I'm not doing that again. I'm going off now to make more feckin' superhero movies. Like, that's what happens, lads. So we have to be careful. We have to be protective of the platform. But at the same time, not take any shite. We have to be able to deal with the problems properly. Do you know what I mean? You're dealing with humans. Humans, we're emotional creatures. We have to be able to say, right, is there a better line of communication here that we can get our points across? Not getting called out or victimized because we think, this is a game-breaking issue. I'm not getting the answers I want. And then you have other people saying, hey, you're breaking the rules here, spam. The whole thing becomes counterproductive. It doesn't work. Do you know what I mean? So we need to work on this. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, good news with the wish list items. On the communication side, as I said, there's zero insight. We get no insight into why it's happened, how it's happened, and how they're going to fix it. I think that would be so very beneficial to the flight sim community if there was, for example, the main thread issue. Now, it was kind of answered later on by Seb. Yet he said he wasn't aware of the main thread issue. It's the way it was worded to him. If you were to say to Seb, see the way we're getting, like, all the VRAM is getting completely chopped up and it's stuttering people's performance. Yeah, he's very aware of that. Why? Because he spoke for 15 minutes about how he's making the whole thing better. But when you see the question being posed, and I quote, main thread locks up and doesn't recover, he's like, I don't know what that is. And then people are like, what? You don't? Right, this is where the problem it's the problem. But anyway, the mod control during the streams, and it is something that I saw, and again, I'm not here to criticize, I'm not here to have a go at folks. They have a job, they're trying to keep the communication flow open. It doesn't make sense that, a community rambles in all with the same agenda to try and derail the thing. What's the point in it? It's like two bald men fighting over the comb. What's the point, right? But the mod control, from a viewer perspective, it makes the whole thing quite negative, doesn't it? When you delete, you're sitting there and you're thinking, Jesus, this is painful to watch. This is like watching the end of Glen Rowe or Coronation Street. The missus is making me sit down and watch the soaps. We don't want to see this. Doesn't do good to anyone. You know what I mean? So I don't know what they can do there. I think it's a real challenge. If it is the case, people had mentioned, okay, we're going to use this platform for a live chat discussion. You can pose a question and then, have a raffle or something. This could be interesting. Have a raffle once a month to say, okay, pick 10 people or whatever. Here's 10 people. You guys get to ask the questions this week. Okay, if your question is brought up and people want to ask the same question, they give it a +1. So all of a sudden, this question, there's 20 people who want this specifically answered. Then at least you can go to the devs and say, here's a question that a lot of people want answered. Can you at least address it? They don't need to give you the solution. They might know the solution, which is fair enough. But you'd hope they'd have the solution by the next dev update. You know what I mean? And at least that's one way of kind of trying to filter down through the communication. It'll be easier for the mods and better because the mods are there to moderate the discussion. And people saying, oh, the mods, it's not censorship. Like, it isn't censorship, lads. You're spamming a chat. Moderation is to allow the fluidity of conversation. If you have a dude in the corner, it's raining outside, it's raining outside, it's raining outside. Stand out over there, will you? Raining outside. Shut up, will you? Right, it doesn't work. So there has to be ways in which the mods can better moderate and pull the information that they need from the community and then feed it into the developers, but also make a note. You know what I mean? But anyway, moving on. After talking about the main thread issue, Seb then went on to discuss CPU cache optimizations. Now, this is huge. CPU running, not necessarily VRAM, but you can understand why the whole main thread thing is shagged. Enhancements are being made. Seb shared updates relating to the overall sim performance in Sim Update 2. How reducing allocations, or basically orders for the CPU, jobs, right? You can reduce those by either grouping them together, by adding in what's called temporary allocations, and the newest thing he's working on is something called parallel threads. I couldn't tell you how these things work. Seb's the man. He's the genius. That's why he's there. He knows how to do it. And he is seeing progress from that. So when we're talking about main thread issues, and then Seb comes back and talks about, I'm making the CPU run better across all, that's the answer there. But yet, that was kind of lost in translation of, main thread issues. So that's good news if he's going to be doing that. The then went on and they were showing us some of the night lighting, the overhaul with Sim Update 4. So where we're currently at in Sim Update 3 versus Sim Update 4. And if you saw the if you saw it, or maybe you're using Sim Update 4, you can see the difference. It's like that extra spill lighting that they have that currently it runs into the deserts. You're flying over an area, there could be night lighting 20 miles ahead, but like the entire area is lit up on the ground. It doesn't look right. Sim Update 4 really fixes that, which is pretty cool. Grizzle! Welcome in. My dudes. Hope you had an awesome stream. Grizzle, welcome in, lads. Happy Wednesday. We're chatting about the old dev update and news. You're all very welcome in.
Allow myself to introduce
myself. Thank you very much indeed. Welcome in, lads. So we're some of the things that they're working on is the CPU cache optimizations, and that's hopefully going to, fix a lot of the main thread issues. Some of it was done in Sim Update 4. And they're going to be rolling out more down the line. Then we have the night lighting updates that have been made, and they do look very nice. I have to say, like that's a wow moment when you see how they're able to change. Kind of like it's almost like is it spill lighting? I don't know what the technical term is, but effectively, it just makes scenery look way more accurate at nighttime. Doesn't necessarily do anything with like the coloring or the temperature of the lights or any of that. It just looks better. Enjoy your dinner. Thank you very much indeed, Grizzle. Hope you're well, bud. Another question that was brought up, and we're still having that. This is the fourth dev stream I've caught this question. People are asking in relation to stutters on landing, right? When they get in for a landing and there's stutters, what happens? So again, it's brought up. They're still working on it. What Seb is working on is this new ground texture baking system. Thought that sounded very nice, a ground texture baking system whereby the issues that they're having, the scenery loads, and if you move your camera, there's a stutter because it has to reload the scenery. It's not holding the scenery. It's not caching the scenery properly. And the reason why it's not doing that is because, well, they don't want to divert that into your VRAM. That thing has enough issues, right? So to fix this, they're using this new thing called a ground texture baking system. It's going to be optimized. Some optimizations have been rolled out inside Sim Update 4, but ultimately what Seb says, he wants to get the VRAM issues sorted properly, and then they can revisit this. So they are working on it. So it is positive news. We all know there's nothing worse, at a large airport, you're coming in to land, it stutters on short final, you're shagged. Or just before you flare, or as you flare, you stutter, right? Yeah, that's the reason your landings are always rough. Sure. But do you know what I mean? It is an issue. So they are working on it. So I thought that was good. But they need to kind of focus on the VRAM issues first. Fair enough. There was a question. Loads of questions were put into the chat. Some were answered, some weren't. Which, again, you kind of have to go back. All the questions, or at least the scripted questions, because people say, oh, this is all, they're wearing their tinfoil hat and all that. Like, the questions that are asked during the stream that you see on the screen, they are put through the forums. You're asked usually about a month in advance to say, hey, we're holding a dev stream on this date, get your questions in. People submit their questions, the mods go along and say, right, these are all similar, let's go ahead and get one question that kind of encapsulates all of these issues. And that's what they do. They push them up and then they're read out. When folks just come in who haven't bothered addressing anything in the forums, right, they'll ask questions, and to be fair, they will try and address some of the questions from chat, but not all of them. And then you have the other side of it. What if the folks do report the issues, they've put them through the forums, maybe they've put them on Zendesk as well, and then when they go into the chat, they're still not answered? What do you do for them folks? Get shagged then. You're going to get negative feedback. It's like, hey, I'm trying to tell you what's wrong, but you won't listen. You know what I mean? So there's all that. But a question came up regarding the H225. The high performance H225, the Puma or the Super Puma, and it wasn't answered. So I think the long and the short of it is, it was supposed to be in Sim Update 3. It wasn't.
Hello there.
Word around the campfire, it's supposed to get into Sim Update 4, but it hasn't. There's no word of it yet. And that's the fixes to the H225, which, don't forget, at the end of the day, was a big reason why a lot of folks upped the ante and went for a higher tier of the sim. You know what I mean? KWF, welcome in. Rams, welcome in. Or Ramas, welcome in. Thanks for the follows, lads. Another aircraft the C-17, no mention of that anywhere. And yet you go back to Miltech and you go back to High Performance Group, they're saying, yeah, we fixed it. We're waiting on them to release it. You know, I didn't hear an update. Jorg was talking about it when you went live. Wait, what did he say? We'll pull up the handbrake, so. What did they say about the 225, so? Because if they updated that and I didn't get there, you need to let me know. You need to let me know. Because I went live. The T38 Talon. Did you see that, did you? So, it's from Blackbird Simulations. The textures look very nice. It looks like a beautiful aircraft. And Blackbird do have extensive experience. They've built this aircraft. They've sold more T38 Talon aircraft for the military. So they know this aircraft inside and out. Sounds, they have access to the real aircraft, so you know the sounds are going to be good. I like Blackbird. I like their aircraft. But what in the blue name of sweet suffering in Jesus was that in terms of a showcase? They brought on Colin. The first thing he says, he's not a simmer. What are you doing showcasing a product if you're not a simmer? Hello? Earth calling? Hello? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Like, what goes on there? Who makes these decisions? Don't put someone in there who doesn't know how to show the shagging product. Why? What was the feedback? Oh, Jesus, this is an absolute... Like, it was carnage. His sim was running at maybe 10 FPS or 20 FPS, or maybe it wasn't, but whatever hook they had in order to do, you know, distance meetings, right? So that probably shagged the thing. Didn't know the views, didn't know the control. Like, it's a disaster. Who in their right minds thinks that was a good idea? This is how it should be done, and let's go ahead. Like, that's a disaster. Then he nearly crashes the thing. And, like, just go back and watch it. Like, Jorg is just sitting there in a world of pain. Like, if there was a song you could play, like, you know, if Jorg was there, just put that soundtrack to it.
Hello, darkness, my...
Just put that soundtrack to it. Like, oh, it was just painful. There's no doubt at all in my mind that will be an exceptionally cool aircraft. It will, because, well, we know Blackbird have the experience. They've been building flight sim add-ons for years. Years and years. So there's no issue there. But the showcase was so painful. It was painful, lads. It wasn't even like, ara the poor old devil. Like Hans. Hans is lovely, you know. But don't have him showcasing stuff. It's just painful, you know. But anyway, that was the T30 or the T38 Talon. That's going to be free to people who pre-order Microsoft Flight Sim on PlayStation. But of course, the aircraft will be made available in the marketplace upon release. Great. And it does look very nice. I will say that. It looks very, very nice. But the showcase was, oh, it was awful. Now, PlayStation 5 news. This is where I was like, wait, come on now, here we go. This is going to be brilliant. And I had my question geared up, ready to go. And as soon as I pressed enter, I got a drop kick by a horse into me lower jaw. The first question about, will PlayStation 5 have cross play so we can play with our friends who are using Microsoft Flight Simulator on other platforms, namely Xbox or the PC? Hey, Chunky's here. Good to see you, buddy. The answer, PlayStation 5, when Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 drops, will not have crossplay. It's not even they said it won't have it yet. There won't be crossplay. So, if you're in our community and you've never had a flight sim and you wanted to get, flight sim for your PS5, you're not able to fly with us. What? Right? And it's put down to say, the verification process, they're just not compatible. What? What do you mean the verification process isn't compatible? Now, lads, you don't need to be, a slightly overgrown, aging, losing hair, thick Irish fella to, like, the solution to all of this. No, shag off. The solution to all of this, private servers, local servers. That solves the problem, doesn't it? Cross-play, point them to someone else's server. Am I mad on this? How can you have cross-play on other F-125?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
F125, right? F125, okay, granted, it's EA. It's using EA servers. They all work crossplay. We know because we only played it last night. What? Taylor says, no, it's because the whole system uses Xbox services. Well, hang on. Does that mean that Forza doesn't have crossplay? Is crossplay available on Forza on PS5? So yes, Forza 5 on PS5 supports crossplay, allowing players to race with friends on Xbox console and PC. Forza is part of Microsoft Gaming Studios, is it not? I mean, that's an inbuilt development, is it not? So how do we end up having this problem? What do you mean the authentication progress? That's nuts. That's not an answer. Now, there was clearly disappointment on York's face when he says, yeah, it's not going to be compatible. There is no crossplay. What? That's the whole point. That is the whole point. Why bring it out on console? There is no point. You can just put the thing on cloud gaming if you want. It makes no sense. I hear multiplayer on PS5 works flawlessly. Well, they're going to have their own. They're going to have their own multiplayer servers on PlayStation, but we won't be able to see them. That's an issue, lads. I think that's an issue. It was just when I heard that, I was like, I don't believe you. Are you still going to get the sim? Probably, right? I mean, if you don't have an Xbox or a PC, yeah, you're probably going to get the sim, and you're going to play with other people who have the same platform. But it is very much then, well, it's a different version of the game. Wait, what? Hardware. This is interesting. So currently, Thrustmaster's T-Flight HOTAS 4 is fully supported, as it's the only HOTAS working on PlayStation 5. So Thrustmaster are going to make an absolute barrel-load of money now because they're the only ones that have a bit of hardware ready to rock. Hardware developers of this world, take note. You just need to get the finger out and get your stuff onto PlayStation 5. But yes, on a PS5, you can play cross-console games like Call of Duty. Sounds like a load of, well, there's reasons. We've known all along, but they just don't care about multiplayer. Like, it's just... I can't fathom this at all. At all. It's like, there's no crossplay? Lads, really? Like, here you already have not one or two, or, you know, there are many established flight sim communities who regularly fly, right? And people on this other platform, no, you can't play with us. Sort that issue. Like, that should be like, hang on, stop whinging about everything else for the minute. This is important. Do you know what I mean? Sony makes it very hard and cumbersome to add hardware compatibility. Sure, listen, I'm sure they do. But, like, surely there's someone in an office who might like an old glass of whiskey and a couple of pints with a night out, and you can kind of convince them into, you know, listen, do you know that thing, how are you fixed? Surely, right? There has to be something. There has to be something. But anyway, we move on. So that was the hardware. The add-on support for PlayStation 5. So people were asking about, listen, if I have a PlayStation 5 and I have an Xbox, do my purchases carry over onto the PlayStation 5? The answer, no, they don't. It's a separate ecosystem. It's a separate marketplace. So, and again, this is scratching my head because I originally said this won't be an issue at all because they use these Simverse coins. Now, so your add-ons, if you're thinking of, you know, ditching the Xbox because you want to go on PlayStation, your add-ons do not go across, which is a problem. It's not a game-breaking problem, but it's a problem, right? Add-on support, it's going to be the first-party stuff first party only, right? And then they said they will look at bringing in some select third parties over to PlayStation. What they want to do, their focus has to be on stability, right? So if there are certain aircraft that they know are just not going to work yet on PlayStation, I imagine those that are using stuff outside of the official SDK, for which we know there are many add-ons that use stuff outside of the official SDK, they won't be, you know, rambling across. If they are first party and they are using everything, you know, from the SDK, shouldn't be an issue, I would think, you know. But But yeah, I thought it was mad, lads, wasn't it? What if you could buy your own server and hook up a flight in it? But that's the way we used to do things years ago, Hangar Studios. I remember in friggin' FSX, you could have your own servers on FSX. I think you could do it on P3D as well. Now, again, it's all very easy to say, why isn't this or why isn't that? Clearly, there's reasons for them. You're not dealing with ticks. Like, you're just not. But somewhere along the line, there's red tape. And maybe there's a bit of subliminal messaging here. When the Microsoft Flight Sim team are saying, no, we can't do this, they know we're all going to go, what the name of Jesus, right? And then people are going to say, this is bang out of order. And then the bigger wigs up the food chain will say, yeah, we better do this. You know, have a chat with those people who put the price of Game Pass up. Right? They're the people who make decisions. Get in front of them. You know, whacking with a wet fish. But look, it's very positive knowing that Flight Sim is coming to PS5. The thorn on my side is crossplay isn't there. That's a big miss, lads. I think it is. It may not affect a lot of people. Again, we look at multiplayer. How many people use multiplayer? You know what I mean? Overall, how many people are using multiplayer in the entirety of Microsoft Flight Sim? Not much. Yet it's advertised, you know. So what do you do? Other stuff then they went on to speak about. We saw a glimpse of the next famous flyer, the Boom XP1, which is being developed by Flight Effects and also working title. It's a pretty cool looking jet. I was looking at that just before we went live. The aircraft itself is the precursor to the return of supersonic flight with commercial aircraft, which is pretty cool. Capable of going Mach 1.4, 3 engines in the Devil, and you need to go back and look at the features of this. Both Marwan and was it Christopher, I think, from Working Title? They gave the great overview of all the avionics and the stuff that they're baking into that aircraft. It's very interesting. Some of the, like, what was the Navidine or Avidine avionics or something? But it looked absolutely incredible. So I'm very excited about that. And that aircraft is going to be for free. That's a free aircraft we're getting. And it looks brilliant. Separate marketplace is amazing for developers. Separate marketplace is amazing for developers. It could double up on quite a few sales, says Mr. TPHI. Maybe. But, you know, is there anything on the PlayStation 5 that's going to enhance your experience over a PC, for example, that would make you want to buy the same add-ons again? I doubt that. Should we be seeing this news? Just looking at the A340. Wait, what? You like the landing camera? Yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. So that was kind of the gist of it. Avidine. Oh, the Avidine. They suck in real life. Do they? Oh no. Basically the team of Garmin. Oh no way. That's hilarious. Oh, look at this fancy thing, but it takes 20 seconds to go from screen to screen. Brilliant. But anyway, that was the news. I think the dev updates for me, I think they need a bit of life thrown into them. I think it's unfair when you have developers sitting there having to just be put on the spot. Why isn't this working? Why is that broken? You have mods then running around trying to do their bit. The whole thing comes across as negative. That's my honest opinion of it, whereby I think it should be done very positively to say, right, this is what we're working on. These are the issues. This is why we have issues. This is how we're going to try and like, Jesus, we tried to fix, remember everyone was moaning about, we tried to fix it, but we broke this instead. But don't worry, lads, we're aware of it. There's a hot fix coming in 12 hours. Go off and have tea or something. We don't get that level of communication. You know what I mean? But anyway, it was still a dev update. There's still plenty of things happening. We did get news for Flight Sim 2020. We did get updates, or at least snapshots of what's going to be happening for the remainder of this year. Exciting news as well. Red Bull Racing, they're hoping to get that released with Sim Update 4. Very much so targeting the PlayStation crowd. They can all play with each other while we play with ourselves. That sounds weird. But you know what I mean. And Sim Update 4 is rocking and rolling. And 2 new aircraft to look at, which is pretty cool. So, yeah, that was the dev update. Consider yourselves updated. If I've missed anything, let me know. Also, let me know your feedback, because as I said, I couldn't care about news or otherwise. I care about what my community has to say on these things. What do you guys want to see? What are you not happy with? You know what I mean? And how, even as our own community, are we able to help with kind of streamlining communication, that issues that we have, can they be addressed properly? I mean, that's what this is all about. You know what I mean? You never had my feet. You're not getting them back. Wait, what? Steiny, good to see you. I want to see a face transplant. Man, Gibbo. Brilliant. Oh, where's this now? My wish list, fix the problems before adding new features. Not as simple as that. Not as simple as, like, when you try to fix a problem, you could break 2 other things. It's software. That's what happens, But yeah, Steiny, hope you're well. I just want actual mesh starters and warbirds. Some have them. Flying Iron stuff have a mesh, don't they? Yeah, hair first. The face is grand. Devil Kid, good to see you. Oh, and a B25. Jesus. Visualize says, Flight Sim 24 will be talked about by our grandchildren's grandchildren. As annoying as it can be, and I'm not trying to say whatever concerns or issues or things that absolutely, piss you all the way off aren't relevant. Of course they are.
Hello there.
But lads, it's still an amazing simulator. It just is. So, I think collectively, as an entire Flight Sim community, I don't want to say be careful. Who am I to tell people to be careful? I just see it as an opportunity to streamline information or the communication. If we can do that, we now know that there is tangible information that can be tracked from point of issue, update 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then solution. Or maybe there's not a solution. But at the moment, it doesn't seem to be that. Do you know? I want plug-and-play hardware for each aircraft. Yeah! When do we want it? Now. Anything new for Xbox, the Starbug? No, the enhancements that they're making, it'll affect the core simulator, in particular when it comes to CPU usage and all the jazz. That'll affect consoles as well. I think, with PlayStation, at least for now, it's standalone. There's no cross-play. Marketplace is tied into its own marketplace. But that'll change. Someone somewhere will just say, listen, about that thing, it'll have to change. You know what I mean? I really want to be able to use the features of the sim completely. It is getting better, but it's hard to fully engage when encountering some brick walls. I'm definitely at the point where I use the sim, but just hovering short of the next level of engagement. Yeah, you're not alone in that, JP Signups. A lot of people have those issues. But again, I think what Microsoft have been doing since the release of Flight Sim 2024, I say Microsoft, what the Flight Sim team have been doing, working with Asobo, is getting the platform stable. That to me is far more important than adding features. Get the platform stable. You get it stable, your third-party developers will see they'll find the gaps, they'll produce the products, and we could also, we can complain, this should have been in the base sim, man. Yeah, it could have been, but it wasn't. Get over it. If you want it, you pay for it, maybe. We've seen that. Flow should have been in the base game. Chase Plane should have been in the base game. Echo 19 Sounds should be in, the third-party communities have, and forever will, bring the sim along. They've always done this. Chunky says, I've switched over to 24 for general aviation. I think the flight model's significantly better, and I think the weather is a bit more fluid and feels a bit more real. The runways also don't look like Play-Doh. Yeah, no, it is getting better. Absolutely, But anyway, it's I'll just wait, other games to play, and then maybe in a year come back once I see streamers not having issues. Brave, I think Flight Sim, any Flight Sim, XPlane, P3D, Microsoft Flight Sim, DCS, they're all going to have issues. It is the nature of what they are. You know what I mean? Or you can significantly dumb them down, then they'll work across everything, But yeah, we'll still be having issues. Yeah, of course we will. But I think you're never going to get away from not having issues. You'll never have the perfect sim. It doesn't happen, right? But I think there's great opportunity, as I say, to enhance the communication, make it more effective. People aren't getting, browned off in chats trying to spam the same messages because they feel their answers are not even being acknowledged. And then it turns into a debacle saying, you're not letting this guy talk. You can't have a go at a moderator for doing a moderator's job to moderate the chat. I mean, it's like two bald men fighting over the comb. Doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? But anyway, all is not lost because of all the things happening. At least we're getting updates. Imagine if they turned around and said, you know what? We don't like the attitude. Good luck to you. No, come back. We were only messing. Jesus. Could you imagine? Right. But anyway, we move on. It was a dev update and, consider ourselves updated. So we're going to start off with the news. The news, ladies and gentlemen. And, this week there's a little bit of news. Holy tabs on the screen. Oh, Jesus. I nearly closed them. Not too many, but we will start at the beginning. It is the best place to start. We have news this evening, lads, and a big shout out here to MSFS to and to Callum and the lads over at FS Elite, where we get our newsage. So, Blackbird Simulations. Janie, then, we've heard a lot. They've entered stage 1 stage 1 of beta testing for the 757 in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Ooh! Blackbird have shared a new development update on its long-awaited Boeing 757 for Microsoft Flight Sim, officially confirming that the project has now entered stage 1 of beta testing. In a message to the community on Discord, the developer said that while this initial phase could also be considered a late alpha due to some incomplete systems, it still represents a major milestone. The first external testers are evaluating parts of the aircraft. The team explained that beta testing will unfold across 3 stages, each focusing on specific system groups before a full release. And according to Blackbird, this process will extend well into 2026, with a more detailed progress video expected later this year or early next year following the holiday period. So anyone hoping to get the 757 before the holidays, before Christmas, no, you won't. Some might consider this late alpha testing instead of beta, since not all of the systems are ready yet, the developer wrote, but nevertheless it is a milestone for us to finally have some external testers testing some, not all, of the systems and providing feedback. The developer accompanied the announcement with several new screenshots captured in Flight Sim 2024, and Blackbird also shared a new beta testing outline showing which systems are included at each stage. So, to give you a quick rundown, stage 1, APU, electrical, flight controls, pneumatic, hydraulic, IRS alignment, lights, flight model, oxygen, fire doors, and so on. Stage 2 will be the autopilot, full FMS use, landing gears, engines, communications, indicating recording systems, nav, and also ice and rain. Stage 3 looks to be the polish, EFB, all other systems, models, textures, sounds, and the effects. Blackbird 757 remains one of the most ambitious classic airliner projects in Microsoft Flight Sim. They want to include both the 757-2 and 3 variants, each available with a Pratt & Whitney and Rolls-Royce engine variant, and it's planned to launch on 2020 first, then followed by a free compatibility update for Flight Sim 2024. The aircraft price is set to $80 covering all variants and engines. The team also hinted that the release will happen before GTA 6. Let's see what happens. Vulcan says, we need a modern day Kelly Johnson in charge. No, there's nothing wrong. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the team. I've always said this, but like, I've had the chance to meet Jorg and Seb. You will not find, you won't find more passionate flight simmers who want the absolute best. Like, I've spoken to them. I've met them. I've had conversations. They're so passionate about all of the flight sim stuff. I think it's a communication issue. I think. Do you know what I mean? Moving on. Got Friends. They've been absolutely flat out. I must have got a heap of emails, right? Got Friends brings its full lineup into Microsoft 2024's era, and they throw a sale on to celebrate. Got Friends announced today all its aircraft and vehicles are now fully forward compatible with Flight Sim 2024, marking the completion of a year-long compatibility effort that covered 23 products. Today's milestone covers 23 products. The Wilga, Double Ender, the Wildcat is in there, and the Glider is also. The Mini 500 and Astro 1 all received updates, tweaks and reworks. Every aircraft, vehicle and novelty project in their hangar has now been adjusted for the new physics in 2024, environmental systems and also the new user interface framework. Many have gained new features in the process, like working title avionics integration and also some new enhanced soundscapes. Some of the highlights would be, well, the Wilga, new aircraft configuration system, improved EFB integration, higher quality smoke and sound effects, and even an overhauled Forwood Farms airstrip complete with livelier wildlife. The Double Ender, smoother prop animations, GTN 650 support and reworked nav systems. The Wildcat, which I think is one of the best warbirds. Fresh liveries, they've rebalanced the sound, fixed multiplayer stability issues, and they've fixed they've added GTN integration. Great news here. They also have a sale on. If anyone hasn't flown, out of all the aircraft that Got Friends do, the Wilga is so much fun. The Wildcat is one of the best warbirds I've flown in the sim. It's on sale now for $12.99. It is excellent. The GB R3, the GB Special, that's on sale for 99 cents. It's a no-brainer. These are awesome aircraft. So great news there from Got Friends. They've been flat out. Here's an aircraft we're going to look at next week, ladies and gentlemen. Flight Sim Games have released a Pilatus PC6, the Porter, for Microsoft Flight Sim. This brings the total number of Porters available to 3. After 4 years of teasers, screenshots, and quiet development, Flight Sim Games FSG, their Pilatus Porter PC6, well, it's finally landed in Flight Sim 2024. Once a project simmering in the background since 2021, the long-awaited turboprop, it's now available, complete with wheeled and amphibious variants, and also the promise of a high-fidelity flight dynamic built from the ground up. It's a milestone for a project that started back in the early days of Flight Sim 2020 and endured years of delays as developers faced the realities of the war in Ukraine, for instance, but they never gave up on it, and they've now re-engineered their work for the 2024 platform, presenting what it describes as an aircraft tuned not just for realism, but also for integration with the simulator's career mode. The real-world PC6 Porter, always being a very versatile aircraft, cargo one day, medevac or skydiving the next, and the FSG's version embraces that spirit. The team claim to have modelled every switch, dial and gauge in an analogue cockpit setup, steam gauge, with optional avionics integration such as the PMS GTN 750, 650 and working titles GNS 530, 430. There is a bit of a trailer here. We'll have a quick look at it just to show you. I'm impressed by this, and as I said, we're going to be having a look at this machine next week as we get some sounds in. But have a look at this, lads, and let me know what you think. Kind of interesting, and it's worth pointing out that most of those screenshots or the video, it's showing you from the in-sim career mode, which I thought was interesting. In terms of an aircraft, it looks very pretty, and in terms of what they've done to it, the Porter is not a pretty looking aircraft, right? But it does have that magical PT6 out the front. So I'm looking forward to trying this out next week. Under the cowling, the developers tout a custom flight model designed to capture the stall behaviour that made the Porter famous. Real-life PC6 pilots reportedly involved in testing and tuning this, offering feedback on the handling and also the engine behaviour. The package includes both a wheeled and amphibious configuration, each with its own aerodynamic profile. There's 17 liveries that mix real-world operators with fictional schemes, and the release marks the end of a particularly long road. It was first revealed more than 4 years ago when they first kind of showed it off. And as I said, this is our third offering of a PC6. We have one from Asobo, we have one from Blackbird, and now, of course, we have one from FSG. It's available right now. over on Sim Market for $19.99. But if you're interested in this, hold off till next week, lads. This will be on the live stream and we'll take a much closer look at it. But good news there. Now, iniBuilds, of course, have released the A340 airliner exclusively to the marketplace. The long-haul classic finally touched down on Microsoft Flight Sim. We're checking this one out here now in just a few moments. It's available through the in-game marketplace, priced at $59.99 on both PC and Xbox. It brings one of Airbus's most distinctive wide-body aircraft to the next gen of flight simulation. iniBuilds say that the aircraft has been built from the ground up, making full use of the platform's new aerodynamic and also the rendering systems. It's a 4-engine long-haul aircraft that defined an era before twin jets took over, right? Basically, they had the A300, and then they said, right, we're going to build something bigger now. And there were variants of the A300 that were to have 4 engines. So they then launched the A330, A340 project, and the A340 came first. I think it's the same length as an A330. And what they did, the engines, they put 4 engines on this, which of course are the C56s. They're the very same engine that is on an A320, but they put 4 of them. The result was a little bit underpowered, especially during takeoff and climb, but it's still a cool looking aircraft. I've other specs and stuff. We'll talk about it a little bit more when we're looking at it in terms of the real world A340. But what I think iniBuilds have done here, like this is phenomenal. I think this is an awesome awesome aircraft. It looks great, sounds great, and there's just it's in that era. It's not modern, it's not old, it's right in the kind of, the 90s. It's like, oh, look at this, we're trying to do stuff. It's pretty cool, and they've added a ton of features to it. Also, we'll have a cabin if you want for packs, or you can even have some cargo variants as well. And the way they've done the cargo integration, which I'm going to show you, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So we'll be checking it out here now in a couple of moments. There's over 40 liveries available for this aircraft as well. So pretty cool, right? So moving on, Boris Audio Works. Boris put out a video the other day. I was like, wait, what's going on? And then I saw the video, and then I had a listen to what he's actually working on. So Boris is now working on a new sound set, right, for the 777. And some of the sounds are absolutely insane, right? Now, you kind of have to watch the video to get a full, do we have like flaps and all this? Look. Like, there's some incredible sounds put into this, and he is working on the 777. Now, what's kind of interesting is, right, PMDG have openly stated they're working on, redesigning all of their sounds. And here you have Boris is doing his own bit of stuff. So, I don't know. But it's a full sound set for PMDG's 777 fleet. The fleet, right? And the pricing is actually quite good. It's $15. That gets you for the full bundle, or $8 for a single variant. And it should be released this month. And Boris makes some really, really nice sounds. We are blessed by 2 excellent sound engineers in the flight sim community, the likes of Boris and also Echo 19, because the importance of sounds, lads, because not everyone has all the bells and whistles when it comes to force feedback or motion and VR and all this. Sounds are, a direct connection to immersion. You have good sounds, you suddenly become more connected to that aircraft. So I think sounds, one of the most important things on an aircraft. And the sounds are absolutely insane based on the video that Boris put out. So for the 777 fleet, that is on the way. For the price you pay for the PMDG products, you shouldn't need an add-on sound pack. I don't know, Jed. You look at some of the aircraft on XPlane. Some of them are released needing a sound pack, Anyway, moving on. Sydney Harbour and beyond. Seafront Simulations, they're bringing Australia's coast to Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. We're showcasing this one tonight as well. Seafront Simulations back with a new project, one of the most ambitious ones yet. They're releasing soon Vessels AU New South Wales, Australia, covering an area of more than 2,000 kilometres. And by doing this, the areas include Sydney Harbour, Eden, Port Kembla, and also Tweed Heads. There's some 15,000 handcrafted static boats, over 1,000 animated vessels, ferries, freighters, sailboats, and patrol craft all included. The coastline is also home to a variety of historic and naval ships, from replicas like the HMB Endeavour and also the Dovekin, to active duty vessels such as the Canberra-class landing helicopter docks, the Daring-class destroyers, and also the Anzac-class frigates. The developer points out the new release is exclusive to Flight Sim 2024 because of the water-level physics limitations in Flight Sim 2020. That exclusivity might frustrate a few of the long-time users, but it also reflects how the technology is moving forward. It will be released very soon for PC and Xbox. And as I said, we're going to have a quick look at this now in a moment. Saw this as well. Flight Sim 24, it gets 75 stunning new cloud presets, all thanks to Floyd's Epic Clouds. Now, back in the day, Floyd brought out freeware clouds, and we also had the stuff from... was it Better Preset Pro? Weather Preset Pro from Sim something. Yeah, you know the name, right? But anyway, there was really only kind of 2 gigs in town. What we have here is a payware collection of 75 different profiles, different weather profiles, weather preset. SoFly, thank you, Mr. Dan. SoFly's Weather Preset Pro. And they also have their clouds working in 24. This one, 75 handcrafted weather presets, available for $8.99, available from Just Flight. And this works, it works for 2020 and 24. What was once a handful of presets now grown to 75. Floyd has built interdependent weather properties, which should mean things like wind, temperature, and precip are tied together in ways that mimic actual atmospheric behaviour. Now, you might say, but sure, we can make our own weather. You can, but sometimes it can take you absolute ages to get the weather just that kind of setting that you want if you're not using live weather. So presets can become very, very handy. And I have to say, well, they look good. Beautiful, beautiful calendar editions here. So Floyd's Epic Clouds, it's a full pack now, 75 of them, and you can pick it up for about $9. I got to say, they look very, very good, don't they? Very, very realistic. Christian says, I think the vanilla clouds are fine. I think they are. And like, he's not changing the clouds. I think these are just presets where he adds the sliders, he messes around with them, he has a look at the humidity, he has a look at the barometric pressure. So it's the same graphics, right? It's just how they're kind of presented to you. That's the idea, you know? So that's available right now. And yeah, pretty cool stuff from Floyd's. Moving on, Technobrain shares brand new Tokyo Haneda, I think it's pronounced, airport previews. They're bringing the airport Romeo Juliet Tango Tango to life in Microsoft Flight Sim, recreating one of the busiest and most iconic airports in Asia with high attention to detail. Known for its mix of domestic and international flights, Haneda's unique layout, a range of new previews have been shown by the developer on their website. Some lovely pictures here. Now, it says airport for MSFS. I wonder, will that include 2024? Right? Yeah, where were they last week? 100%. The pictures look very nice, though. From the images, it's clear that Technobrain is aiming to bring or to capture the full-scale atmosphere of the area, not just the main terminals. And back in June, we also got a preview video. No release date yet. It's going to set to become a key addition for anyone who likes to fly in the region. So it is looking pretty nice. It just says MSFS. It doesn't say 2024. That's interesting, isn't it? We'll know now by looking at it if it is 24. That looks like 2020, to be honest. Huh. I imagine it'll be for both. I'll keep an eye on it, though. It looks nice. Tay Models announcing Bengaluru in Microsoft Flight Sim. Could have sworn I saw Jamie with this. Some of the pictures on this thing looked absolutely incredible. Release date 5th of October on the PC, so it's out. Senior developer Tay Models bringing, Kempe Gowda International Airport to Microsoft Flight Sim. Located north of Bengaluru, the airport serves as a major hub for both domestic and international airlines, and this is going to be released across all Flight Sims. So you're going to see it in Microsoft Flight Sim and also on XPlane. So yeah, did I not see? Here's the preview. It's on Facebook. Jesus, this could be dangerous. Do we have sound? The most beautiful. Have you a little gadget here? We do. Check out some of the screenshots on this, lads. This looks absolutely friggin' nuts. Look at that. That's in the sim. Is it? No, that's not in the sim. That's real. Is it? Wait, what? Hang on a second. Oh, that was real. I think this is him building it then from the plans. Ah, yeah. Wonder how long it takes a developer to make all of this stuff. Like when you consider the detail and everything that goes into them. You know what I mean? Funny they put as much work in airside as they do on the land side. I've heard that before. Like, I mean, these guys have released some stunning sceneries over the years. Is there not another video of it? No. There was. I saw previews of this thing, man. Where is this now? Time models. We'll do a search over here and let's see what happens. Time models. Yes. And we're looking at Bengal. There you go. There you go. There you go. Here we go. It's over on Orbex there at the minute. That's for XPlane 12. Time models or Tay models. What was it? Bengaluru? Bengaluru. There we go. iniBuilds on the ball with the trailer. Check this out. Because it does look stunning, lads. Look at the cut.
Jesus.
The ground textures look alright there. Man, look at that. Man, look at that. Jesus. The ground textures look pretty nice. That looks absolutely gorgeous, lads, doesn't it? Fantastic stuff there. And as I said, available for Microsoft Flight Sim and XPlane. Have we a price on the devil? I should have pressed the button. Where was that even open? Reopen, close tab. Where is this now? Time models. Bengaluru. Here we go. Microsoft Flight Sim. Time models announced. We saw the announcement. iniBuilds have the video. Hang on now. iniBuilds products. There you are now. It's available for £19.51 Great British pennies. £19.51, €22.45 or 26.30. 26.30. Feel good. Good to see it. Available right now over on iniBuilds website, lads. It does look very good, doesn't it? Microsoft Flight Sim 24 and 2020. And it looks absolutely gorgeous. I got to say, man, that looks gorgeous. Anyway, released and all good stuff. Now, moving over to XPlane, Level Up have announced a 737NG series version 2, which is going to bring major visual and sound overhaul to the freeware 737. So the series, after years of development, the team behind the 737NG series for XPlane have announced the long-awaited version 2 update, described as a full C-check across both visuals and the sound. The major overhaul modernises the aircraft for XPlane 12 with new modelling, textures and sound design. The update features improved 3D modelling and double polygon counts for smoother surfaces across the fuselage, engines and landing gear, while both scimitar and non-winglet wingtips have been completely reworked. There are also new 8K textures applied. What? Sound design, Joshua overhauled the audio using Fmod 2, taking advantage of the new XPlane 12 stuff. Recordings of that of the CFM engines, giving the 737NG far more immersive buzzsaw and livelier ambience. That's pretty cool. So this is a freeware Boeing 737 over in the world of XPlane, and it's an entire series. The 737 6, 7, 8, I think, NGs are all included. And 900. Very excited to see this. Think of the Zebo mod and then kind of, add to it. So that's pretty cool. Look at that, look. So great news there over in XPlane. And not so great news. FlyJ Sim, the 727 has been abandoned. Lead Jack broke the long silence, delivered an update on the status of the company's aircraft line, particularly that of the 727. Jack explained why they've been silent, overwhelmed and ashamed. He recognises that the community has been left waiting for years with few clear updates, which is unfair to those who've invested time, hope and trust. The 727, Jack acknowledged, is effectively abandoned in terms of major development. As for the 732, it's not dead, it lives, but the development is stalled, stuck waiting on Jack's own capacity to move it forward. He emphasises that past announcements full of features and bold promises were made in hope, not certainty, and that life's obstacles have intervened. He's not committing to a release date or roadmap until there's something tangible to show, but he does hint that a very basic XPlane 12 compatibility patch might be possible in the future, though it's low priority and unscheduled. He clarifies that the Q4XP aircraft will continue to get support, patches and updates as he's able. He insists it's not abandoned, even if it may receive less spotlight than some had hoped. Jack lists several health and personal issues that have slowed him down and admits to letting shame silence him rather than being open. He thanks everyone for their patience, honesty and still being there, especially his co-worker Amy for her work and loyalty throughout all of this. This is one of these stories it's just kind of, it's pain, right? And I mean that in a very sensitive way. The FlyJ Sim Q400 is an excellent add-on. The 727 in XPlane 11 was excellent, and the 732 was very nice as well with the classic. These were beautiful aircraft back in the day. Now the Q4 or the Q4 XPlane or the Q4 XP, the Q400, I mean, that's still flown quite a bit, and it's a very, very nice aircraft. Like study level, tons of information, loads of learning in it, right? However, this is kind of like life, isn't it? Like here we have a developer who was once very prominent in the XPlane world. Life catches up, and it's sad to see it. I don't know, maybe developers might reach out and say, listen, we'll try and take this project on for you. Maybe there's scope for that. Who knows? I do know that the 727 was an absolute cracker of an airplane, cracker in XPlane, as is the 732 with those big old classic engines. As for the Q400, which is and that only came out a couple of years ago. This pretty much took the mantle of where Majestic had their Q400, right? This is the best simulation of a Q400 we have. So I don't know. It's kind of it's a sad one because FlyJ Sim, they've done incredible work over the years. Incredible work. So who knows? Maybe there is a developer out there who might say, you know what, we'll help out this. That'd be great news. But yeah, if you're an XPlane user and you're wondering, what happened with FlyJ Sim? It's not great. It's not great. What's this now? Addict to Flight. It is Sims and TS2 with aircraft. Indeed, it's a game and will forever. Wait, it'll never be a sim. FS9 was a sim, maybe FSX. Prepared 3D for sure. Still, XPlane 12 is a sim, but Microsoft Flight Sim is a game. Yeah. I think. we could. It's always a hot discussion, right? When people say, this simulator, it's not a sim, it's a game, and other people say, that's a game, it's not a sim. I think it's an interesting discussion, right? And you'll argue one cause against the other. For me, I always say, like, my opinion is, it is what you want it to be, right? If you want it to be a sim that has gaming features, or maybe it's a game that has simulation features, it doesn't matter. What are you using the product for, right? If you're using it to learn systems, to learn about navigation or the weather or aircraft or aviation in general, well, it's simulating what they do. Some might argue more or less than, other platforms. But I think the answer is, it's very much, I think it is what you want it to be. The label doesn't change anything if it's a game or otherwise. Now, would you have the same conversation with someone who said, well, War Thunder, is that a game or a sim? Well, it's not trying to be a sim. The hint is in the name, right? Microsoft Flight Simulator, you can say, it's not a sim, it's a game. Show me another sim or platform that can simulate the world the way Microsoft Flight Sim can't. And then, Phoenix, for example, PMDG, Just Flight Aircraft, FS Reborn Aircraft, iniBuilds, Sim, you know what I mean? Black Square, it's incredible stuff, But as I said, it's always an interesting discussion, and you'll always have two sides to it. Job and Goat Simulator, yes. it's a hot topic, right? Don't get me wrong, but it's I always I find it funny that people think if someone calls it a game that it's like insulting your mother. You're using a game. What did you say? Stitch him a loaf and burst him. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't get yourself in a bit of a tangle. But FlyJ Sim stuff, as I said, that's fingers crossed someone can help do that. Now, information here, we're going to ramble over to Threshold, and Threshold is another awesome website for all the information. We've pretty much covered it, bar one. Flight Sim Weekend 2026 opens exhibitor registration, and they're announcing new event details. The annual event being held at the Aviodrome Aviation Museum in Lelystad in the Netherlands between March 20th and 22nd. In addition to the opening of registrations, the team have shared several new details about the upcoming event. The team announced that Flight Sim Weekend will introduce a new expansion hall, larger booth formats, and a variety of exhibitors from around the globe. Niels, the chairman of Flight Sim Weekend, stated that after gathering feedback from both exhibitors and visitors at recent events, the team decided to increase capacity and further enhance the quality of presentations. Jan said, this expansion represents a new chapter for Flight Sim Weekend. As the community continues to grow rapidly, the team aim to provide everyone, whether hobbyists or industry leaders, the space that they deserve. Magnus, who looks after Threshold, he's now working with these guys, concluded by mentioning that the new hall will allow for even more engaging content for visitors to explore. Nice. The 2026 event, Navigraph, Honeycomb, Aeronautical and iniBuilds will serve as the primary partners, and the companies are returning to enhance the event with expanded exhibits and exclusive showcases in the new exhibition zones. The team emphasises that these partners have played a crucial role in the event's success. Additionally, the event will welcome new major partners for the first time, including one of the most recognisable names in flight simulation industry. In the coming weeks, the team will provide more details as additional exhibitors and partners are confirmed. Exhibitors who are interested, there's a route, or you can click on the link, and you can also register to go there as well. So I can't wait for this. We had a ball last year. The Flight Sim Awards, well, right? But we had a ball there last year, and it was a lot of fun, and I'm very much looking forward to going, or this year, I'm very much looking forward to going to it next year. Apart from meeting up with developers, hardware, software, and all the jazz, you get to meet the people, you get to hang out, have a beer, have a coffee, and just talk virtual planes or real planes. I really like it. It's an awesome venue. But anyway, great stuff there. Now, on our last bit of news, before we go to the A4 or the A340, news from SayIntentions. Have to give you this, lads, because it's pretty cool. SkyOps have released a new patch which is designed to work with the Jurassic World scenery. Right, so Jurassic World is open for operations, full ATC coverage, mission integration, and SkyOps realism. Now available, which works with the Orbex Jurassic World scenery. SkyOps from SayIntentions has been dialed in to give us some pretty cool stuff. We can do some missions, which is pretty cool, right? So what we can do VF4 flying, so you can fly, you know, people to and from, like vets, for example, right? Doctors and vets. You can ask for a mission, transport missions, staff and visitors using fixed wing and helicopters. And you can use what's called the Asset Containment Unit for helicopter-only tactical rescue missions. Pretty cool, right? With that comes a whole load of different frequencies in which you can communicate to ATC on the ground. And you can ask for the missions off the island, but they'll only generate when you are there. You can also pick your SkyOps crew as usual, as they all have ACU training. Your mission data and frequencies match the Orbex package, so tools like Little Nav Map will display everything perfectly. So you can transport the guests, contain the chaos. Welcome to Jurassic airspace. Pretty cool. So that's all available. I did a bit of testing on this during the week. I had to bring Dr. Emily Smith. She was a vet to go to a Tyrannosaurus Rex neck of the woods, and I flew her in and I was asking all loads of questions using SayIntentions, giving me all the information, and it was a lot of fun. So that's all part of SkyOps, which is cool. It's added to those who have it, which is great. So we're going to be doing something over in Jurassic World very soon, lads, very soon. So if you don't already own that scenery, I highly recommend you go and grab it. Now, we're getting there. The A340. So far, 380 of these aircraft have been built, with 377 delivered to airlines. Started manufacturing in 1991. First flew in 1991. 25th of October. That's almost exactly 34 years ago. And it was developed, as I said, from the Airbus A300 series. Now, iniBuilds did a phenomenal introduction video on this. It's just shy of 1 hour, but they really go through all of the systems. Now, what they've built with this aircraft, for Microsoft Flight Sim, it brings one of the most iconic long-haul aircraft of its era into the flight sim. From startup to shutdown, the aircraft provides a fantastic experience throughout every phase of flight. Systems have been carefully recreated, including fully configurable autosave options, CPDLC integration with platforms like Hoppy, geo-specific GPS jamming that affects TCAS and your ground proximity warning devices. Your CPDLC also works with SayIntentions as well. The electronic flight bag monitors oil, hydraulics, brakes, tyres, batteries and the APU, while legacy avionics like the ISIS standby instruments and also the EIS and EIS2 cockpit options reflect both the classic CRT and modern glass display units. The flight deck, cabin and exterior combine to showcase the aircraft's scale and its presence. The cockpit features detailed avionics with interactive controls, while the cabin offers dynamic lighting, realistic interiors and the jacks flush. Brilliant, right? I added that in. But anyway, let's go off and have a look. There's a depth of simulation here with this. The modelling, the texture work. This is a phenomenal machine. It's gorgeous, right? It's gorgeous. So, let's go exploring. It is a Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 only aircraft. You can only grab it from the InSim marketplace, right? And what to expect if you do pick up this aircraft? Well, for me, it runs better than any other freaking airliner I've seen. I've had no issues, WASM or stutters or otherwise. I don't know what it is. It just runs very, very well, right? Also, the detailing on the engine, and we'll go into like walk around mode in a moment, but these are the CF56 engines. They're the very same as what are sitting on your Airbus A320, but there's a lot of awesome detail gone in with this from iniBuilds, because of the sounds you can hear, the famous, you know, right? The old blades kind of just rattling and rocking and rolling. But it's the texture work on this aircraft I think is absolutely sublime. It is beautiful. and the detailing that they've put in with the engines. You know, out here you can walk around, you can open and close the engine covers, and we have a load of other options on the ground. Even on the wheels, the detail they get into the brake lining indicators, the tires. These things wear out over time. You'll see hot spots on them, right? Tire pressures, all of the jazz. You can have brake fans fitted. You've all the options that you've come to like and love from iniBuilds. Even on the middle landing gear on the fuselage, which isn't fitted with brakes, that was there to basically just spread the weight of the aircraft across the way. You know what I mean? Adding to FlyJ, you've no issues because you have a setup of $6,999. Yeah. But this thing is absolutely brilliant. You would think that added to FlyJ, but like there's other add-ons that I have that don't run well. You know what I mean? So what do you do? Do not fly this big birds. I'm more of a bush flyer, but I like the livery. Enzi, good to see you, buddy. It's absolute quality, and like you're probably looking at it to say, yeah, there's lovely work at the textures, dirt, grime, wear and tear. You even have sliders on this to increase the amount of dirt and grime on the aircraft. You can increase that or decrease that depending on what your persuasion is. But even the decals, look how sharp everything is. This thing is absolutely savage, and as I said, it runs very, very well. You know, very, very well. Love the attention to detail. Yeah, it's awesome, right? And overall, it's a gorgeous looking machine, and I love the way they put. I love the way the liveries that they've chosen. There's like 40 different liveries, but what makes this one really stand out for me, lads, it's because it's the freighter version, which was a passenger variant converted into a freighter aircraft, right? So if we jump in here into the cabin, this is set up as a freighter component, right? Meaning that they just took out the seats and we have these large, you know, cargo pods, for want of a better word. And this is done very, very differently. A lot of the other cargo aircraft, they have a ginormous ramp door, you know, and everything's all tracked on the ground and they all slide in, right? This one, it's very different because, well, in each of these pads or pods, things appear to be hand loaded, right? And I'll show you this now in a moment. But the whole cabin is there, be it passenger or freighter. So you have the options of both, which I really like. And then we ramble on in towards the flight deck itself. And anyone who flies typically kind of A330s, you're not going to be a million miles from wondering what everything does. But it's the detailing that they've put in to these screens, these EIS systems. And I got to say, I didn't think it would have been this cool. But it is this cool because, yes, you do have the natural curvature of the screens. I mean, look at it and you can see the individual pixels. Look, you see that, like, that's the detail we're at here now. You know what I mean? Which is phenomenal. But there's also features that the glass even does versus, you know, your LCD screens. Like it's mad details, right? So what we're going to do, this is inside in the flight deck, and tons of functionality here. All the usual creature comforts. I nearly said creature comforts. Then I said it and then I realised, oh no! But anyway, yes, your tray table can fold out and that's where you can like handprints and like there's lovely textures all over the place here. Like it's class looking, right? It is class looking. So there's even like, it has the whatchamacallit. It has the footrests. How cool is that, right? So the EFB, this thing has to get some sort of a gold star. So your flight planner, your flight details, payload and fueling, ground equipment. It has integration with GSX. Your official flight plan is there. Takeoff performance, landing performance, charts. It has its own map. Maintenance on the aircraft is friggin' nuts. Brake temperatures, tires, brakes, APU, engines, hydraulics. You can the slides can be deployed, engine oil, and also hydraulic levels as well. It's just class. It also has some nice failures built in there as well, including that of a bird strike. Birds. But you have ECAM failures and fuel failures, flight controls, plenty of stuff there if you want, including that of radar jamming. It has this new autosave feature, which I thought is awesome. So you can say, hey, I need an autosave every 10 minutes because maybe the sim will break. It has your throttle calibration, which, you know, get your hardware set up. And then you've all your details for getting the settings of the aircraft. You know, do you want to have the IRS alignment fast, real, or instant? Do you want to link your instruments? All the usual bells and whistles, you know, altitude callouts, your audio settings, the EFB settings, and then you've configuration settings like dialing it into the likes of your Navigraph, SimBrief, Hoppies, or SayIntentions. So all that works very well. And you can even open and close the windows. So they've thought of a lot of things here, right? Birds, Eddie, birds. It's pretty good, right? Anyway, moving across, some similarities, as I say, if you're familiar with Airbus, you know, the FCU is quite familiar. It's a little thing, and it's I don't know, I geek out when I see this stuff, right? Because I'm so used to kind of modern technology. I don't want to see delays between screens. If I have an iPad and I swipe and it's slow, oh, this is crap, right? What they've built into this, because it's replicating the real aircraft, if I wanted to change one of these screens, let's say the APU, see where it says, please wait? They've actually simulated that, so you don't have these screens instantly. It takes a moment for it to go, yeah, I'll get to that. Right? And then when it comes to sounds, internal sounds, like to give you an idea, so we're currently running on external power. We'll fire up the APU now in a moment. We'll do a quick fire test. Lovely. Cruise supply can come on, ground control can come on, start the APU. And we can also turn on our hydraulics here, and there's a reason for this, right? And they do work. If I ramble out to the aircraft and I open, I'll do it. Watch. We're going, Jesus, come over here now, quick. We're going to ramble out under the aircraft, and in your first person walk around mode, or third person walk around mode, whatever you favour. Just like the A350, where we do have access to some of the hatches here. So for example, if we ramble up to here, and I think that's hydraulics. So here's the gear doors, right? So there's the gear doors open, and that's where you get in and you want to inspect. And again, the level of detail in here, lads, like, it's absolutely savage, right? And there's other things that, you know, you can plug in air starters, ASUs. You can plug those in just by clicking on them, and you've all doors and all the jazz you can plug in as well. Same with opening and closing cargo doors. There's switches for them. You click on the switch, hit the lever, and you're good to go. You can do everything from outside, right? Not only that, but as we're looking at the engines, yes, we can open and close these, right? So get these closed. Where's my click spot? Where's the click spot for this gadget? I thought we just had to hit them. Maybe try these, where the buckle is. There we go. So I'll hit the buckle. What I want to show you here, close this one as well. Do you see the bit of red paint? And it's only on the right wing. See that bit of red paint? We'll come back to that in a moment. Now, if I wanted to close these, because if I left these gear doors down and I take off, and then I try and, you know, close my landing gear, it's not going to happen. They're going to be blocked. These are going to stay down there. If I try and activate these now, look, put them in the up position, nothing happens. Why is that? So we've no hydraulic power. So I can turn on the pumps manually, right? Electric and hydraulic. So if we turn these on, you'll hear them move. We'll jump out the plane again. Do you hear the door close? And that's the landing gear door able to close because there's now hydraulic power. So we can do the same over here, look. Close the flaps. And get this guy back out of action. Because you now have hydraulic power, they work, right? But if we wanted to extend the RAT, for example, the ram air turbine, and if you see this thing open, you're in trouble, right? But you can go in and have a look at it and see it deployed. So where that little gadget was on the wing, you can now go up and inspect the ram air turbine. Not deadly, isn't it? So that's all modelled, and of course, well, you can close it, but you need to go back into your maintenance to say, well, Jesus, will you ever fix the old ram air turbine? Maintenance, reset, service, stow the rat, look. Stow the rat, and if you look outside the aircraft, there it should be. It's all done, right? So our APU is up and running. We can go ahead and stick on the bleeds, and in terms of flying the air, it flies like any other aircraft. However, the settings in terms of the flap configuration, and also because of that lack of power, this is probably the most tail-struck aircraft in all of Airbus, and probably one of the worst offenders in the world. Just purely down to the fact the distance between the rear wheels, right? And there are skid plates and stuff on it, but like, you got to be careful handling this aircraft. And a huge challenge is it's the power settings. This thing will not climb like what you think it should, which makes the whole thing interesting. But what I want to show you here, I want to show you the payload, and I love this because it's cargo variant. I don't tend to do long haul flying. However, I do like the large aircraft, but I'd rather fly them short haul, and that doesn't really make sense unless you're doing cargo operations or you're in Asia, right? So what we can do here, we can load these things up with custom freight, and we can import it from SimBrief, or we can do it manually. So we can load in animals or biohazard stuff, medical supplies, post, flowers, food, you name it. So let's put in flowers for the crack, and let's see, we'll put in instant load, but we'll put in some fuel here as well. So we're going to say instant load, and our payload should be flowers, instant load. So that's all now loaded in. Check this out for madness, right? So come over here, open the door, and before you wanted to know, yes, the jacks work in all the jacks, right? Accurate. If you come on out into where the cabin is now, right? Sometimes your camera gets stuck if you're in Egypt. But let's ramble out in here to the cabin. Because, remember I said about these cargo pods? That's the stuff inside them, look. How friggin' cool is that? And you can actually go along and check all the various cargo that you've loaded. So we've loaded in flowers, Gloria flowers, and, unicorn flowers, Picasso roses even, for the lady in your life, which is pretty cool, right? And then the last bit of coolness that I saw, on top of all the cool stuff, see this down here, your video? It actually displays your video. Just cool stuff that's gone into it, right? And about these screens as well, I wonder will the terrain radar work here? It should do. It does. What's pretty cool here is, and what makes these screens different, there's no backlighting on these screens, right? So if I were to make this, nighttime, for instance, but what you find out here is, have a look at these screens and then you compare them to like your Mac Dos. See the way the Mac do, we can actually bring up the brightness of the backlight as well. But because we're on the older screens here, there's no backlighting, so it just shows you what it's displaying. That's the level of detail they've gone in here. That's pretty cool. It's awesome. So, they've really done some great work on this machine. And again, the sounds, I imagine we should have flaps working with the sounds. And depending on where you are in the aircraft, you'll hear them. Bring them back up. So a lot of the sounds are very, very good. The aircraft itself, it is highly polished, and I'm going to be flying this, not this week, we're going to fly this probably next week, because I think they've just done a stellar job in it. Now, it doesn't have any compatibility when it comes to our wing hardware yet, not natively at least, so I'm waiting for that to be done. And it has the usual kind of creature comforts, as I say, like you can pull down the blinds, and there's plenty of things to keep you going. But then you have the avionics suite itself. So whatever isn't in your tablet, it's still all accessible from down here. So we can go into our main menu, you've ACARS. There's even a friggin' printer on board that you can configure to say, print me a new message, whenever it's getting like weather or flight plan or anything, it'll actually print you off, and you see the print, you see the printer fire into life, and up comes a bit of paper. It is a cool airplane, lads, and I think, you know, if you're looking for an airliner, feature rich, that's a little bit different because it's old, right? It's not the, you know, it's not the newest kid on the block, but there's a ton of features built in, and like the modeling and texture work, I mean, to me, this is top drawer stuff. Like, you know, bits of stains over the place. You just get the feeling it's an aircraft that's being used. And like when you see the detail, lads, it's just staggering. It really, really is. So that is the iniBuilds A340. It's an absolute friggin' cracker. I highly recommend it. There's going to be more and more liveries coming out. It'll integrate with GSX. If you don't have GSX, you don't need it. You can do all your own stuff. I think you can do pushback on this as well. Let's see, ground equipment, dirt accumulation, snow accumulation if you wish, and it has its own pushback built into it. That's pretty cool, right? It's pretty cool, lads. I'm very much impressed by this from iniBuilds. Where the A350 is very modern and it's a beaut, I feel more at home in this. I don't need to worry too much about all the modern technology of multiple screens, and I like this setup. I'm more comfortable with this. I don't know why. I'm just, that looks more familiar. It's awesome. And I love the fact that you can change out the screens as well, be it the EIS1 or the EIS2. And of course, because we can do all of this, you can pop out the screens. Although I did see the comment at the start of the stream, someone was saying that the triple screen wasn't working well. We'll have to get onto them and ask the question to see, you know, can we, you know, is there a way forward? Can we get that to work? Who knows? But you can pop out whatever dials and jazz. It's pretty cool. So that is the A340 from iniBuilds. Lads, I highly recommend it. We're going to take this for a flight, not this Thursday, the following Thursday, and we're going to take this out for a spin on VATSIM because it's very pretty. It's very, very pretty. So moving on. The aircraft, as I say, it's available through the InSim marketplace, $59.99 US. All right. Next up, we're going to do something completely different because we're going to show you. What are we showing you? We're showing you something mad, right? And you might be saying, Murph, are you for real? I'm for real. Flyndive. You know Flyndive from our community, yeah? Well, he's only gone off and he's made himself a power motor. A power motor, right? And we're going to go down to, we'll go over here to Australia because we can, well, show off a bit of stuff, right? Here we go. Go down to Eden. Down to Eden for the knack. And we're going to start off. I don't know where we're going to start off. I need a bit of space with no trees to be able to make this work. We'll start off here in a field. And we're going to start off on the ground. And we'll set our time of day to daytime. And that all looks lovely there. Now, what we have here is a paramotor, and I have information here from Flyndive. I'm going to read a little bit about it, right? So he is making the paramotor for Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 and with 2024. And a paramotor, before you think, yes, it is that gadget there. You have a big friggin' propeller on your back and a parachute. A paramotor, also known as a powered paraglider, well, it's a lightweight aircraft that combines a flexible fabric wing, the paraglider, with a motor and frame worn on the pilot's back. Portable, relatively low-cost setup allows pilots to launch on land and foot, making it one of the most accessible and versatile forms of personal flight. Are we mad? A paramotor uses a lightweight, high power to weight ratio two-stroke engine, typically displaying somewhere between 80 and 350 cc, which is worn like a backpack to provide thrust from launching and flying the paraglider wing. These purpose-built engines specifically designed for aviation use, they're air-cooled and drive a fixed-pitch propeller. Now, why this, right? Why make all this? And like he goes into like, these are your risers, similar if you're familiar with parachutes and all this, right? The concept of this type of flying emerged in the late 1970s. But why is Flyndive making this? Flyndive has years of experience flying these things. He has years of it. And he said, you know, I want to make one of these and see how we get on. And that's what he's done. He's over 20 years experience operating these things in the real world. It's in beta at the moment. It's going to release soon. It's like the price, I can't remember the price, but like it's very little. Where is this now? He probably told me, and I'm not forgetting. Hang on. Go back into my Discord. I'm going to find Fly and Dive here. 1 second. Fly and Dive. Is? It's available on October 24th on his website, and it's going to retail for $9.99. A tenner, right? And you might say, right, well, what are you doing with this, Murph? Well, I'll tell you. This thing is absolutely nuts when it comes to virtual reality, because this is your view. This is your absolute view. If you wanted to look around using Track IR, you can look up. There's one hand, Jesus. There's another hand, parachutes on the ground. It's there behind me. But look at the field of view you have. This is absolutely nuts, right? So in order to get this gadget up and running, we need a little bit of wind. And we need to start up the craft. So buttons here now, Murph. And no, not that one. Here it is. There's a little button here I think I press. It's alive. Let's see what happens. Can we actually get the thing airborne? Oh, jeez, we're up. Brilliant. Now, in terms of trying to control your pitch, it's a challenge actually flying this. But I will say, right, this thing is actually a lot of fun because from a VR standpoint, it's brilliant. From a non-VR standpoint, right, why are his legs like what? His legs are there. But they'll come up once I pick up enough speed, he puts his legs forward, right? And it's a beta as well, so we won't get too, you know. But apart from the sounds, which, like, they go through your head, it flies really well. And nothing else flies like this. I'm using this with a joystick and a throttle, right? And if I wanted to, like, suddenly descend, well, you got to do it like they do. Put in a high angle of turn, and you'll start dropping. The landing gear, those be your feet, right? So if you had a small bit of power in, look down at me feet, and let's see what happens, right? Not yet, Big Al. It's going to be released in a couple days. But in terms of flying around and going exploring, and it put a smile on my face. Right, easy now. Oh, Jesus. Right, now. So down there now and all as well. Parachute drops behind us. So it's still in beta. But as I said, Fly and Dive has years of real world experience flying these things. Now, I don't think I'd do it myself because I broke my legs already. But like, having the option to do this in the sim, as I said, with the likes of VR. Now, I need to turn around here. How are we going to do this? There we go. Jesus. Turn it there now, Beth. Oh no, we're going to hit the trees. Ah, you crash die. Right. It takes a wee bit of practice now, lads. A wee bit of practice, right? But you get the idea. And you often see these lads, you know, they'll be on a hill and say, right, go on, get up there, Finton, are you ready? Look at them go, look. Run, you devil. And that's it. We're airborne and off into the sunset we go. Brilliant, isn't it? I think the point of this more so, yes, it is something mad and cool, you can fly, right? And there's animations there, like, you know, you can flare the chute and you can do all this sort of stuff. But in terms of, like, your visibility, looking around and just exploring an area, even like 300-400 feet, even without using something like VR, it's very chill. And there's a bit of a challenge keeping the thing up and moving. But you put this thing in VR, man, it's weird. Like, you'll get the feeling of, oh, Jesus, you know. Imagine a group flight of these. Yeah, it'd take you all night. But Fly and Dive, yeah, it's pretty cool. So he reached out to me and said, Murph, I'm working on this. And I'm like, this is awesome. VR in your rig, right? Yeah, you see them everywhere. You see this flying down and around Kerry and that. Around, what's it called? Paddock's Cross or Connor Pass, you know? What do you think of it, lads? It is something different, isn't it? I mean, may not be your cup of tea, right? I definitely see the fun in it in terms of exploring scenery, which is awesome in Flight Sim 24. It just is. It's awesome. So, I don't know. It's definitely something different. Priced at $9.99. It'll be available over on Flyndive's website soon. I'll give you the link there, right? Have a look at it. It's not just another add-on. I mean, fully animated pilot, realistic flight model. And that's based on authentic developing, because 25 years of real-world flying experience. The model incorporates firsthand, I've hit a tree, the knowledge to simulate the intricacies of paramotor flight with precision and authenticity. I've now stuck to the trees. I've become a victim of the forest spirits, and that was the end of Murph. Right. That is the paramotor. Do we like something different? Wingsuit, that'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? So for my next trick, I'm going to show you some scenery now. And I'm going to load in a boat. I have a boat from L 2020. In there now, Jacinta. And we're going to go down here and just show you a taste of what Seafront Simulations have been working on. Because they've added in, as I've mentioned, like what, 15,000 boats? 15,000 boats. And there's over 1,000 of them animated and going around the place. It's pretty cool. And, you know, that seafaring game or whatever it's called is out, or it's in early access, and we're all looking at boats going, Jesus, that looks class. When we talk about boats, we're kind of saying to ourselves, you know, I wouldn't mind using boats all of a sudden, right? So here's our little boat. Now that's from RM Marine. So you can use boats in the sim and just go cruising along if you wish. May not be your cup of tea. However, what we're looking at here is, well, this stuff. This is from Seafront Simulations, and this is just one of the areas along a stretch of some 2,000 kilometres in New South Wales here in Australia that they've added in all of these boats. And there's 15,000 static and about 1,000 animated ones, the likes of the little yacht. And what they do, they just add a bit of life to these areas, right? Which is pretty cool. And they have the larger vessels as well, and even some of the you know, the military, the naval stuff, they're all there as well. And you've seen the Seafront Simulations stuff before. I mean, they absolutely do add tons of marine traffic, right? But what's nice about this is it's native to 2024 because of the new water physics, right? And the LOD is actually pretty good as well, considering we can see boats all the way out over there, look. That's funny. I zoom in and they disappear. But the LOD is working better. There's no real pop-in, right? And the modelling of them is superb. And a lot of them have gorgeous night lighting as well. Some of the boats, so they have aircraft carriers done. You can actually land on those. They are static. I've yet to find so many, or I've yet to find any out rambling around, but I know they do ramble around, right? And you can see, like, there's even traffic out at the sea, look. Right? So they've added in loads of different vessels, and these are designed to, you know, oomph up the bit of marine traffic that you'd have by your coastal towns and harbours and marinas and all the jazz. And they do look very, very nice. So it's an add-on from Seafront Simulations. As I've said, we've seen a lot of these before. But you see now some of the night lighting, especially when I go back into the harbour. But some of them look absolutely freaking gorgeous.
Hello there.
Look at that, look at the lighting on that fella. Isn't that only class looking, isn't it? That's really nice, lads. You know what I mean? Judah, good to see you. Welcome in, buddy. I'm well, thanks. Hope you are too. If you go back to our marina, we can show you some of the other boats. Like, they do have some very nice lighting, don't they? Firefly covers, you better believe it, man. Right? And there's loads of them. There's like, this is only one little small area. I was up around the Sydney Opera House earlier on, and just lines of them. Loads of boats moving around. So he's done a great job here, I think. As I say, some of them are landable on, particularly the much, much larger ones, like the aircraft carrier. There's other boats I wish you could land on, but they're not fully there yet, you know? But I just thought it was a very nice addition, and I love flying in Australia. But now, of course, you know, if you wanted to go down the road of boating, now the RM Marine stuff, this isn't officially working in 24. They kind of work. Like, if we get rid of all this stuff, let me see, get rid of the pier, right? And, you know, we can put Jemima onto the boat if we want to. Where's Jemima? Seats. Go on, give us Jemima there. Yeah, she can be 27 ton. Why not? There's Jemima. And she doesn't say much, but I find she's a great listener. You know, she's, you know, but I think there's Fidelma's even included as well. If we go downstairs, look, there's a Fidelma and there's a Deirdre, right? So they're all there, right? The ones. So you're out cruising. Now, the sounds are shagged. The sounds don't work on the boat. So, you know, there goes that idea. But if you're out in your boat like this, and you're out for an old bit of a cruise, and you just want to take your time, and you just listen to the... you know what I mean? The RM Marine stuff, the sounds on these, I had these in 2020, so the sounds don't work in 24. I imagine he'll update them, right? Does it come in pink? I think we can change the colour of the boat. Yes, it does, actually. It does. It's just something different, isn't it? Right? You know, it's just something very, very different. And you can go exploring all these little inlets. I think it's a great way to explore the Seafront Simulations stuff because it populates all these little inlets and stuff, you know? Is it only New South Wales or is there any other in Oz? At the moment, this is just in New South Wales. At the moment. Like, he's covered some 2,000 kilometres all the way down from, you know, from Sydney down to, you know, where we are here. Where's this now? 2,000 kilometres of spectacular Australian coastline to life. I'll show you the trailer that he made, even though we have it here in the sim, but I need to show you this because it looks very good. Jesus, that's loud. Easy now. We'll have a look. It's time to boat. Mission Impossible music. The Limbics, someday soon, man. But you get the idea, right? Does he put the icon down? He does, the Mad Devil, look! Yes! That's what we want to see! Up you devil! Right? Brilliant. But anyway, Seafront Simulations, 15,000 handcrafted stacked boats, 1,000 animated, and also some iconic ships there as well, including those from the Australian Navy. Yeah, like the boat handling, it's not great, is it? But I imagine RM Marine or Marine RM, I can't remember the Marine RM, I think it is, or RM Marine. He'll definitely patch these up because, I mean, look at right. How can I do this now? Like, the sounds don't work. How do we fix this actually? Because the sounds are shagged. Hang on, if we do something like this, here we go. Like if you do something like this, and you just totally chill out for the day. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you just take it fierce handy. Jesus, I nearly fell in. And you're just out for a cruise. You know what I'm saying? Looking in at, you know, Marjorie and, what's her name? Consuelia there in the corner. And then, of course, you have Beatrice. It's a nice day in the simulated world. What did you do yesterday, Murph? Oh, waiting to tell you. I was out in me boat in New South Wales, and I didn't even get a whatchamacallit? Hang it right there. Oh no, that's left. Oh, Jason, Eddie fell in. I didn't even get sunburned. Right? I mean, hang on a second. We can get very creative here, look. Ah, sure. Would you come here out of that now, would you look? coming soon. Microsoft Boat Simulator 2026. Exclusive to PlayStation. Jesus! It has main thread issues as well. Well, listen, but you get the idea, right? So that's that. So, the showcase there, of course, lads, was from Seafront Simulations. They've done mighty work. Right, in our last bit now, we're going to show you an airport. No ordinary airport. Am I saying this correctly? Mike, kind of, but not really. Right, what about... Wait, now, I have stuff in there I can't be messing with. Sure, listen, we'll load up in an owl. Sure, look it. We'll take that owl Betsy there now, hey. And we're going to go to 0 Oscar Romeo 8. Get in there now and let's check this place out, shall we? Because it's a new scenery. And we like new sceneries. We'll sit up here in the dock. Sitting on the dock of the bay. And yeah, we'll do one of those. Are we flying on Friday? Yes, Curse, we are. We're flying in the Caribbean, or Caribbean for those, who pronounce it the wrong way. That's what we're doing on Friday. So this one, Backwood Studios, Sutton On Rogue offers an unparalleled opportunity to own a 62-acre private airfield in one of the most scenic and sought-after regions in the Pacific Northwest. Situated on the banks of Southern Oregon's world-renowned Rogue River in White City, Oregon, at the base of Table Rock, this exceptional property provides a real-to-life aviation experience with an emphasis on real-world visuals and immersive natural environments for both flight and foot exploration. Jesus, I'm inside in the hangar. Now, the good news about all of this, our good old pal, old buddy, old pal, Practically Geek, showcased this off the other night. Wait, how to get... And I don't know what... Oh, hang on, get the door. Wait now. Oh, balls. How do we... Janie then... nav lights to open. Right, okay. Jesus, no. Wait now. I'll figure this one out. So you fix that? Right, nav lights. Battery. I picked the wrong... Beacon? Landing lights? I turned on all my lights and it doesn't work. There, it worked. Brilliant. Right. Let's go exploring, shall we? Oh, look! A Jeep. A Range Rover. A quad bike. Automatic doors, nav lights to open. That's pretty cool. So your nav lights might work, but they'll open up your hangar for you, right? There's Cletus with his little airplane. And this is our ranch, friends. This is our new crib, right? And there's loads to see. There's like just a massive amount of... custom assets mixed in with like default. Would you look? Jesus. It's a bit like me. It's after aging about 20 years just by looking at it. Right. Move on quick. There's the jacks. There's a little moped. And here's even more buildings. These are all starting locations. Oh, look at this. Ooh. A Honda Brownwing. Or is it? No. That's a Harley. Is it? I don't know me bikes enough. Okay. I'm now a ranch owner. Yeah, dinner on the hoof, I'm telling you. What else do we have? My collection of beautiful sports cars, including the newly released Skoda 911 RS. Yes. The Skoda V12 variant. And that's a pickup truck. This one here, the Skoda Stingray. And we have a cabin that has grass on the inside. Look, even as the window... Oh, look, I need one of those shagging things. That's the ticket. That lad broke. I need one of those in my actual house. Look at the lovely trees we have. And, you can explore this place on foot as well, which is pretty cool, right? A BMW. I want to say a Mustang. Could be a Corvette. Look at the detail here, look. Into our ranch. Right now, you can actually go into these buildings. if you're... Oh, Jesus, really? You can't come in with the drone camera. Go figure. Honey, wake up. They're watching Orbex on the telly again. Jeez, this is really nice, lads, isn't it? So you can go walking around. It's your house, which I kind of like. I love this kind of idea that, no, this is your house. So, like, you know, you couple this with, like, on air. And suddenly now you have your own little place. There's a man walking around suspiciously in a suit with a briefcase. But you know what I mean? Isn't this absolutely beautiful? It's your own place. It's your own house, right? And there's lovely like land and the forest and stuff around you. You have the river that comes down, beautiful sounds, the rocks and all that are done. Come down here for the listen. I mean, shut your eyes and you're there, look.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus, right? Tommy, how's the peeping? And like, if you wanted to, you can get very experimental here if you wish. Right now, it doesn't have snow. Oh, it does. Well, it kind of does. Needs a bit of work on the snow textures, lads, doesn't it? Or they just spend all day with the snowplow. That's interesting. We'll need to have a word with Backwood Studios to see, can we actually get snow in there? There is kind of snow in there, but not enough. Like, that's full coverage, you know what I mean? Oh, Jesus. Back to live weather. Shall we go with that? We get the idea, right? What was that now? Went over Murph's head. Hey, Tommy, how's the peeping? Peeping Tom? The movie went over my head. As many things do, though. Who did this one? They're called Backwoods. Oh, there's a fish! And ducks! Ah, brilliant! Whack, whack, whack. Jesus. Where's the fish? They're leaping! No, Divil! Did you see him? Look out, ducks! There's fish leaping out of the place! Anyway, and a little boat. Wait, hang on. It's a pond, for crying out loud. Interesting. But then we have the ranch, right? And like, look at the detail here. Like, if that isn't atmospheric, look at that, lads. Isn't that superb looking? Got some more buildings here. That's where Madman Barnes lives. Jesus, don't go near Barnes. And then I'm stuck. And then up here, well, here's the ranch proper, look. Bit of Dutton Ranch going on here, look. There's John Dutton right there. But not really. It's pretty cool, this. So you have your own ranch, you have a beautiful house, you have loads of hangars, you've loads of custom starting. There's cows. What in the name of Jesus? The big woolly fella, look. He wouldn't last 10 minutes in Ireland. What else do we have? That's the ranch, right, with a big fancy barn. Isn't it pretty? Isn't it class, look? And then, are these a custom or are their default? But isn't it a stunning location? Like, isn't it stunning? What a beautiful part of the world to be in. And like, loads of little assets on the ground. You really do get that sense of, yeah, this is mine, I own it. You know what I mean? What a cool little place. Jesus, we tried driving down this road. But then, of course, then you have the airport element where we can go flying. With a sloped runway, no less. Little windsock there. Runway number. Who lives here, look? This is where we put the bold people. Get in there now. Or is this the party house? They're inside watching Orbexes again. Imagine having places like that. And like your own runway outside. Isn't that what Kando's doing? He's building a runway at his house. So yeah, this is actually gorgeous. Now, here's the thing. Are you sitting down now, lads? This scenery, it's available now through Orbex. You can buy it right now for $9.07 or €7.82 or £6.78. Like, I want to break into UI, look. Ah, Jesus. What the freak? Right, try that again, Murph, without breaking things. Night lighting. Get down to the ranch. Like, the pricing is excellent. Look at the night lighting. That's class. Like, got blue lights all around the place. Mr. GPHI is going to like this light. Look at the light. When can I get there in FS25? Wait, who? Larry would break the fence. Kyle, good to see you, buddy. What do you think of it, lads? Walk towards the light. Stay away from the light. I think this is pretty cool. Oh, there's even nights with the pool. Jeez, your man is still there, look. I'd be looking at my phone as well. How's he got red eyes? Jimmy, jeez! Run away from him. The man by the pool. What? What man by the pool? Oh, look, they got a helipad here as well. Is there lights inside in the hangars? Ah, there is too, look. Ah, that's pretty cool, lads, isn't it? Very good. It's very, very good. So, like, as I said, like, the price, €7.82. What? Is it available for 2020? No. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. I'll put the link into the chat. That's from Orbex, so you can grab it. If you want to grab it. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm well impressed with this. It's your own little pad. You know what I'm saying? It just gives you a place to call home, which is pretty nice. How many times did you use it? Well, I mean, if you were going to be like, if you wanted to use this as your home base, you'd use it quite a bit. I mean, if you look, you know, look at the surrounds and where you are in the world. Do you know? I mean, you're in stunning countryside. Fly out to the big mountain and stuff. Yeah, I'm very impressed. For the price as well, it's for nothing. And like, it gives you, it gives you a place you can call home if you wish, because the house and all that is there. And like, as I said, if you want to go, if you wanted to go rambling inside the houses and stuff, you know, this could take a hot minute, but sure, we'll see. Run, you devil, run! This is going to take too long. Park me plane there. Duck down there now, good man. That's using the old noggin. Can we go up the steps? No. Don't tell me we can't go up any of the steps. Oh, we can. We go up these steps. Brilliant. Yes. Can we go inside the door? Yes. Look, we're in our house. Look. Microsoft Flight Sim 2002, as real as it gets. Haven't we come a long old way since Flight Sim 2002, though? It's pretty cool, though, isn't it? The question is, can we get into the pool? Can we get into the pool? I'm running as fast as gravity will allow it. Ah, brilliant! But also... Oh no. Oh no! We can't get out of the pool! No wonder you're standing with a brain. It's a trap! It's a trap! We can't get out. That's it. Game over. Ball burst. Ah, what a way to end the stream! On that terrible sad bombshell where we now have to, you know, live underwater. Yes, friends, that was tonight's Flight Sim news with thanks to SayIntentions. Quite a bit of ground covered here tonight, and as I said, we were hot on the heels from the Microsoft Flight Sim dev update, and yeah, a couple of head scratching moments for sure, but still, fingers crossed we can get some of these bugs fixed. particularly those who are suffering with Sim Update 4, and the reason that they find themselves on Sim Update 4 because they're just not getting the performance they need on Sim Update 3. Maybe we'll have a think about it, lads. You know, is there a way that we can better channel communication directly to Microsoft? Maybe you guys have seen it in your own line of work or in school or whatever. You know, it's no harm suggesting solutions, right? Or at least tease it out, and you know, we'll see what goes from there. So yeah, Vulcan mind meld. Yes, the Irish and specifically Murphy invented Mirmen. Yes, the Mirmen. Remember the Flight Sim 2004 virtual cockpit? Hell yeah. That's what I mean, lads. We've come on such a long way, you know, such a long way. But we've covered a fair bit of ground tonight. The dev update, the iniBuilds A340, which is gorgeous. We're going to fly that on Thursday week. We checked out an upcoming paramotor from Flyndive. We checked out Vessels AU, the New South Wales from Seafront Simulations, and now we have Backwood Studios' newest scenery, which is now available through Orbex, and it's called Sutton On Rogue Airport. Pretty cool. Tomorrow we're back. We're going to be flying in the P180 tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Zulu, 11 o'clock in the morning local, and then tomorrow night we're going to be taking the TBM 850 on VATSIM as we fly from Montreal to Boston. That's going to be fun. So do hope to see you all there. A double stream tomorrow. So if you're on that time zone, we'll see it in about 12 hours time, and if not, we'll see you in about 20 hours or 21 hours, something like that. All right. So lads, as always, I want to give you a massive thank you very much indeed for all the support, everyone for tuning in, for all the likes on YouTube and all the support over here on Twitch as well. You're very kind. Thank you very, very much indeed. I hope you found tonight somewhat informative and helpful, and remember, stay positive. The whole world is out to get us. Stay positive, because we can be moany mics and, you know, whinge. It's the same outcome, isn't it? You know, so just be happy about it if you can. If not, get some lemons, put them in the fridge, and then when you feel the need to be negative, start eating into them. Yeah, it'll give you a totally new perspective. Right, we'll see you tomorrow morning for some flying in the P180 Avanti. We're in Italy doing that with On Air, and then tomorrow night the TBM in Boston. Looking forward to it. So until then, you take care. You didn't use your indicators. Electricity must be expensive in your truck, is it? Christ! Oh no, a terrible accident! Jesus! Did you Did you Oh, I nearly passed out with the laughter. Did you just see what happened? Jesus! That's speaker and the course of the 7 lads, it's all... Hang on, it's all gone pear-shaped. Otherwise, we're getting better now. Oh, it's so good as well. Gin-covered table with cordial. Wait, I don't need that anymore. Not with that bag. That's like old technology. It's gone under me TV stand and everything. It's gone into me mouse mat. Hang on, I'm trying to do the thing. Headache! Right. That's... Jesus. That's proper destroyed now. That time we were all flying to Canada. Don't panic!